And Muzz got mad at me, the coach said, he goes, Jesus Christ, why don't you just work 2 nights? And I went, okay.
Please never do that.
Yep. So,
hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 471 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports.
RA is leaking right now.
Family, I am leaking. I'm always leaking.
He's leaking coffee, sweat. It's like 58 degrees in here.
What's up, boys? We're on the road again. We've been traveling quite a bit. We are down the dirty South Atlanta once again, doing a little sneaky business. We'll get to a little bit later. But we're going right to Sweden right now. Our pal Matt Murley, the newest correspondent. What's going on, buddy? How are the old global series going for you?
It was tough. 4 games and 4 nights. They don't make players play that. And us media, we took it on and we pulled it off, but I'm paying for it right now.
Is it true that you told the wife that you were going for the first 2 games and then heading home, and then sure enough, you went 4 for 4?
Yeah, so first I was going to go alone the first 2 games because they were 8 o'clock games, and then the family was going to join me for the Saturday 5 p.m. But all the kids are getting sick over here, so wife of the year she took home everybody on Saturday. So I ended up going to the game Saturday. I woke up to a text from her Sunday, like, everything's going well at home. You might as well stay for the final game.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wife of the
Wife
year.
for the decade. Wife for
You
the
better
century.
be Christmas shopping right now. Holy shit, Mur. So you were ready to go home, and you were able to check. What was the last game was like 3 o'clock over there?
2 p.m. So it was like
That's
pop
great.
up, like, I got to get going. I got to get back over there. And it was really nice because I had an old teammate of mine, Mikael Hammerstrom, who played at RPI with me.
Sounds dangerous.
And if that name sounds familiar, his dad was Inga Hammerstrom. He was an NHL player, longtime scout, but it tied us into this whole weekend. I got to talk to Inga and hang out with him. He's Swedish hockey royalty. He's the player that Toronto went to watch, and then they saw Bjorn Salming then.
Oh.
So they both came over together, and you know they were thick as thieves. So we got to spend some time with him. Run into another guy, Tommy Bergman. I never knew about this guy. He came over a year before. He played for Detroit, and he was like the first Swede to ever play a full season. So that was the kind of stuff you saw down there. Everybody saw that Sundin and Alfie were there, and Zetterberg and everything. But these old legends were there too, and I got lucky enough to talk to them.
So should we give a little bit of a backstory here for those hockey fans who have been living underneath a rock? So they had the world premiere games. We actually did it to kick off the season with Pittsburgh one year. Wait, you were on the squad too, weren't you?
I was injured. I had surgery, so I couldn't go over. Yeah, and I remember, they didn't take me over because all the rehab I was doing. I was still in like a walking boot, and I think it was 10 days roughly you guys were over there, and I was just alone downtown. It was miserable.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry to bring it up,
I was
too.
rattled, but it's great that they're doing it. I feel like this was probably the most successful one they've had.
I just like how they ended up bringing 4 teams over, and it's also in the midst of the season, so I feel like more people are already involved, like already revved up for hockey, considering over in Sweden it even starts before the NHL season. I want to say that regular season there starts in September. So they did 4 teams. Toronto went over, Minnesota, Ottawa, and Detroit. And like us when we went over to play against Ottawa with Pittsburgh, most of those teams are loaded up with Swedes, especially who the star of the league right now, in my opinion, William Nylander. And you actually got to ask him a question after the one game, and you had your Brian McGonigal, Barstool Sports, your Timmy Thomas moment.
Yep, I got the press pass right here.
Yes.
Had the official pass for all the games, and they took care
Murls,
of
game
me.
notes.
Hey, let me play it. I'll play the audio here.
Murls from Game Notes. I couldn't help but notice, but the first goal and the third goal came from the blue paint from the mixer. Is that something you work on or think about and get pucks there and bodies there?
I just think that's the way the game was going for us. Nothing was really clean. Everything was just kind of sliding off our stick or whatever, so we had to get there to get a couple dirty ones, I guess.
I love that you got the mixer in there, and then of course you get the link to the T-shirt, your mixer T-shirt that you sell. It was professional media music by you, I guess, because you knew exactly what you were going to ask. You had to think of a question prior, though, no?
Yeah, I was sitting with a Swedish reporter, Henrik Sjöberg, who actually gave me a wrong tip. He told me it was going to be Olympic ice. It ended up being NHL ice. And he was just talking to me all game. He's like, you got to come down there. You're media. You can come down there. I'm like, I don't know if I can go down there. He's like, get down there. You're coming with me.
You're like, I'm
be ready to
wrecked.
ask be ready to ask a question because he had the camera with him. He's like, I'll get it all. It'll be perfect for you. And then everything just unfolded perfectly where Nylander gets all the points. And then he's one of the, they only brought in 2 players and he's one of the players. There wasn't a lot of other people there. Put my hand up, guy called on me and
Murls,
I hit it out.
What was your heart rate when you asked it?
It wasn't too nerve wracking just because there wasn't that many people there. You know, there was probably only 7 or 8 other media down there. And I just feel like I know Willie. I've known him. I played against him when he was 16 years old over here. And I wasn't that intimidated by him where I would have been a different story if I had to interview him on Sunday after that goal he scored.
Well, he answered it awesome. Like he gave you a lot to work with. Did he recognize you? Did you get a chance to give you the head nod afterward or catch up and play tummy sticks?
No, I didn't get to talk to him after. I feel like he didn't because he didn't really smile or unless he's that much of a pro, but he had a lot going on. I mean,
you think? Dude, this guy was on a television show with a I can't say the word I was going to say, a tank top, a white tank top. He was playing, he was talking to that Madison Beers girl. Like she is an absolute missile. Were they trying to hook her and him up?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the show because it was all in Swedish, but the girl's talk show, Bianca, I think it is, was on there.
Missile.
She's a huge reality star. And
The old lady?
No, not the old lady. He's like
she's young.
the Roseanne of the show. Kind of like on The View, you got the Roseanne and then you have the missile to the left. Had you ever heard of that show, like being living in Sweden?
Yeah, and my wife watches her reality show and listens to her podcast and everything. She's a mega star, and then he's on there in the white tank top, just a legend.
What's the backstory between like him going on with the tank top? Did they make him wear that, or he just decided to?
I think that's just Willie Styles.
Come on.
I think that's it.
Buddy, he is the it guy in the National Hockey League, one of the most it guys in all of sports right now.
Whoa.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You think he's one of the most it guys in all of sports?
100%, dude. He hasn't gone a game yet this season without recording a point. He's on a 17-game heater.
I'm going to agree with you. Maybe the it guy in the NHL right now, but when we go in all sports here,
Buddy, he was 3 minutes away from whipping out his hog on Zoom cam with Madison Beers. Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, I want to see this. Who is the Madison Beer? Like the girl with 40 million Instagram followers I'm looking at?
Oh, yeah.
She was on that with him?
Buddy, they were...
Is she Swedish?
No, I don't know how this all got lined up, but listen, if the NHL needs to do one thing other than create NFTs or get merch deals going with Fanatics, is they need to fabricate a relationship just like the NFL has done with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. It needs to be Madison Beers in not just at the press box. Bring her down right on the glass in Toronto's barn and get the internet popping. That's how you're going to garner views to the National Hockey League. That's how franchise values are going to double and triple in the next few years if you start getting Willie in the mix.
There was I think there was like a 3-block lineup to get his autograph too at one point in Stockholm.
I would have been standing in it.
Yeah, I know you would have been. And then you would have been there for Brady Tkachuk because he's on the Sens too. It could have been perfect. You should have been over there. You should have gone too.
It would have been a 2-for-1
That was
special.
the big talk over here. And then one thing, Chiclets is worldwide. It wasn't just people from Sweden or North America here. There was Slovakians here, Finnish. Tons of people from England.
Really?
And the big question, all the talk was how big is Ottawa and Toronto. Nobody can believe it. Nobody wants any part of that. So the word around was you got to pick a team, even though they did go 4-0. Your 2 teams went 4-0 over here.
Murls, I actually mentioned to the guys in California last week, like of someday doing a Euro trip. You think we could pack a big meet and greet in Euro?
Oh, no, not a problem. Like I was meeting, just going by myself, and I'm a plug, and I didn't stop talking to people for 2 hours before the game. Everybody knew Chiclets. Everybody wanted to know where Biz was, and it was quite the show.
Was Toronto the only team who didn't have to play back-to-back over there?
I think so. They got to play. I know their opponents both were off back-to-back, so. What did Minnesota?
Maybe the fourth team didn't have.
What was the most electric game? Toronto versus Detroit, and explain explain your start of the weekend to the end. Like you ended up going to all 4 games. You know, what was the most sold out? What was the best game? I'm sure you were probably there for that moment where Stützle scored the OT winner, baseball fucking swing out of the air. One of the best. That might have ramped them up and gave them enough morale to make playoffs this season. I said that, and then I had a bunch of haters coming after me online, and they're like, "Keep dreaming. If you watched him play. I'm like, buddy, they're a bunch of young guys trying to figure it out where they're.
And they haven't had goaltending yet.
They haven't had goaltending.
He's ridiculous, Stützle.
He's a fucking machine.
Like, I don't think people understand how good he is. He's on a pace to have like one of the most legendary seasons of all time for his age player. But so, yeah, Murls, I interrupted Biz.
No,
so
you're good.
Best
We do that all the
game,
time.
best atmosphere, most impressive player, I guess, besides Nylander.
It was. I mean, I'll just start like it was like it was scripted the entire weekend. So Thursday night, there's a ton of goals in the German because there's tons of Germans there. So Stützle, he gets the highlight reel goal. The next night was the big night where every Friday night everything was sold out. All the suites were open. All the dinner tables. All the Swedish NHL legends were there. That was the Detroit Leafs game. Nylander puts on the show. Even then, the next game, which was kind of like the dud game. It was Ottawa versus Minnesota, but it worked out where they both started a Swedish goalie.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were going back and forth. It was 1-1. It goes to a shootout. The goalie even had an assist, for Ottawa. So that game was perfect. We all saw Sunday. Like, thank God I was there Sunday to see that game. And I was sitting at right above where he scored the goal.
I think it was where Nylander scored the OT winner.
Yeah, I think it was Riley did like the diving block shot at the other end. And then it got on Willie's.
Yeah.
And once Willie had it, you saw him coming like right at me. I was like, this game's over. And he's just like, he's just doing whatever he wanted.
Because it was a forward. I think it was Johansson.
Watch your fucking mouth.
It was Johansson who he ended up getting to like take one-on-one. He probably realized I got him beat easily. And then he went short side too. Like you thought he'd bring it across the crease and he just put it in quickly. It was sick. The place went bananas. Was it mostly Leafs fans?
No, so that's the thing. That's what was so cool that there was 4 teams here because everybody didn't just go to every game. The Leafs fans waited and they went to their 2 games. Yeah. The Detroit fans were here early, went to their games. And then, there's all these other Europeans that were just couldn't find a ticket to that game, this game. So it was really like a mix, but a lot of Detroit, a lot of Toronto. Those are the majority of the jerseys, but the Wild were well represented. Ottawa was represented. It was a home run.
Murls, I got goosebumps on my arm right now thinking about when I was there with Pittsburgh when we played Ottawa and Matt Sundin came out to drop the ceremonial face-off. It felt like the people there stood up for 10 minutes giving him a standing O. Who were the legends who ended up dropping the puck and maybe some of the legends that you were able to see there? I mean, I'm sure Lidstrom was in attendance given the fact that Detroit was there. Like, give us some names.
Yeah, so Björn Salmon's son, he dropped the puck the first night.
That's awesome.
And that was kind of going in. They made a TV series about his career and everything. So that a lot of the players went to that premiere. I think Nylander was at that too during this week. So they had a big premiere for him. I know Sundin was there Sunday. He came out with his 3 kids and dropped the puck Sunday. Alfie was out to drop a puck.
Lidstrom dropped the puck, I thought.
Lidstrom must have done another one, and that was the 4th one then.
Well, actually, RA was trying to start out the rumor boys where he was getting us all amped up on Alfredsson going behind the bench. The coach, he thought that there was going to be a coach swap mid-trip, and I'm like, pump the brakes, buddy. They're in Sweden. Obviously, they're asking him to do that just because he's a legend there, and it'll get the fans excited. RA, were there any other notes that you written down as far as rumor boys are concerned with Alfie?
Well, he ain't going anywhere now. They're 2-0 with them behind the bench.
He's coming back over to Ottawa to coach?
He lives in Ottawa, right?
Oh, yeah, he lives because he's
been
worked
helping out with
before.
the team.
And then he left. And then when Andlau bought the team, he brought him back into the organization because he invited Andlau over for lunch. He cooked him Swedish meatballs, Murls.
Oh, all right.
He had him over, cooked meatballs, and he rehired him. But he doesn't have a specific title. He does like coach with the players, and they said whatever. Anytime you offer something, just spill it out. Like DJ Spitz, like anything you have. Whatever you want to tell the boys, tell them. Like, he's got, like, kind of carte blanche to do whatever you want with the guys. So it's not like an adversarial thing at all. Like, DJ Smith asked him to, like, join the bench with him. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just clearing up the rumor boy situation there. And it seems like a lot of teams are doing that and involving these older legends, right? You see Spezza in the mix. Well, obviously, he went with Dubas. I mean, we've talked about it countless times with Talk adding the Sedins to help out with the power play, Gonchar, Adam Foote with the D squad. Another guy, and I wrote this down and we texted each other because we keep forgetting, Mike Yo's actually a part of that coaching staff as well.
Yes.
We had with the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. Unbelievable guy. He was where was he head coach? Minnesota, then Philadelphia, and then now he's back to being an assistant.
And he was St. Louis, and then he got let go and they won it all.
Okay.
Right? Wasn't that when?
Yeah.
Wasn't that when?
Okay.
When Chief took over for him.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's been around. I think he was a great assistant coach for me. I don't know how we just got on Vancouver, but
No, I switched over because a lot of teams are incorporating the mindsets of these legends and skilled players who once played to come on the bench and coach a little bit. Let me get your interpretation of what's going on with our power play and where we can help maybe fix a few things. So just getting intelligent minds in the kitchen in order to cook up some success. So Ottawa 2-0, maybe they should keep Alfie on the bench, as you mentioned, the rear.
I got one question before we move on from World Games. One, Murls, are you hearing anything as to where they could go next? And two, for you guys, where would you like to see them go next?
Well, Pablo said Mexico City.
Yeah.
I think there's 20 to 25 million people there, and him going there would probably, it would be chaos, I would imagine. And I would love to go watch some hockey in Mexico City. I heard nothing but good things, and obviously they got pretty good powder over there too.
Yeah, the rumors were swirling over here, and I don't want to confirm it, but it's pretty much Munich next year. They just built a brand new arena, and it seems to bounce like that. Sweden, Germany, Finland. So it lines up that rumor is probably true. So Munich next year, but who knows with how many teams? It would definitely have to be the Oilers because you got to get Draisaitl, right?
yeah.
But to make Ottawa come back again would be tough, but we'll see where that goes. But last thing about that too, there was a girl there with an EBR sign.
I saw that.
She made it so big that they wouldn't let her hold it up. So it was fun for her to see that over there. And one last thing they need to do though is change it. They should have had these games last weekend when all the European leagues were on break, because then more fans and even like players could have came when they're on their break to see their buddies and see their games and stuff. So they just missed on that one weekend because a lot of fans were split. Do I watch Timra? Do I watch my team?
I think though it is cool. Besides you, because you're an alien who stays up for every game. I mean, NHL games are on at 1 a.m. over there, so like it's so special for these fans to get to go see their favorite players and their favorite NHL teams in person. I think London would be sick just with how big of a city it is. I don't know about their arena in terms of if there's a nice enough arena to hold it over there. Have they had it in Helsinki before? Has this happened in Helsinki?
Yeah, they were in Finland last year, but I think it was in Tappara. But it was Helsinki a few years before that, I believe. They got a huge rink there.
They should do one in Rome at the Coliseum. Weren't you just there? You think you can get a ring in there?
I don't know. I don't know if they could figure that one out.
Do your Italian accent again, like you're showing people around the outdoor ring.
People said it was like Mexican. I don't even.
I thought it was awesome.
Nylander goes over the center ice and he scores a beautiful goal. Re-sign him right now and Leafs not win another Stanley Cup for 100 more years.
Oh yes.
What's that meat I like? A prosciutto. A mozzarella. I would like Italy to be sick. I don't really understand. I mean, Mexico City. He's from Mexico City, I guess, Pablo. But really, Mexico City?
Do they have a rink there? I mean, because it's a fucking pretty hot area.
That's a heck of a question.
I mean, I know it's high altitude too. I don't know how much that.
How about we do it in Munich next year, and then we do it to Mexico City when we post up a rink.
Munich would be sick, actually. Munich would be awesome.
Overall, though, out of 10, Murls, what would you rank the whole world premiere experience this year? It looks like they hit it out of the park, and one good thing that the NHL did do.
Yeah, it's definitely a 9.5 out of 10. The only little thing was I wish there wasn't the Timra games going on or the German games, because these guys are playing in those leagues. Their buddies are on those teams. Like my buddy Ennis is playing in Germany, but he would have loved to come up to Stockholm and see Spurgeon play for the Wild, and I would have got to see him and stuff. But it was awesome with the 4 teams. You got so many people here. It was 3 out of the 4 games go to overtime.
Yeah.
You couldn't ask for anything better. It was really something.
As far as the paparazzi stuff, were the boys out to Cafe Opera till 3, 4 in the morning, bringing home Swedish supermodels? Like who did you see maybe wheeling out?
See,
with a couple
I don't go to those kind of places anymore, so I didn't really see them. I saw some of the coaches out and about at the pubs. At the pubs I was frequenting. And,
did you see your boy Sheldon?
Yeah, were you playing tummy sticks with Keith?
No, I didn't get to see him. I went down in the balls of the rink. The one game I ran into Billy G and Ryan Carter from Minnesota, and then I pulled Fleury out of the locker room. And I had Bogosian. I was talking to Bogosian. He's like, "Oh, I'll go get Fleury for you." And I see him talking to Fleury, and I think Fleury didn't know who I was anymore. And I start just
man.
yelling at him, like, hey, I'm like, don't
Fuck
forget
you.
who drove you to your first NHL game and your first NHL practice. I'm like, get out here and talk to me. And then he comes out, oh, Matt, hi. He's so nice.
He's still like, who is this? Who am I talking to right now?
No, then I knew he knew me because then he's like, oh, you got to tell Biz and Whit and all those guys I say hello, blah, blah, blah. And he's such a nice guy. I had fun. I talked to him quick and let him go on his way. I didn't want to be too big of a jock sniffer down there. But
Billy G, did he mention Billy G's an unhappy man right now? The Minnesota Wild are they're a dumpster fire. So I didn't know, did that come up or were you more just kind of shooting the shit with them?
No, I was kind of just quick shooting.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, whoa, what are you doing here? He's like, wait, oh yeah, you live here, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I live up there. And I mean, they played better. They came away with only 2 points, but they played well.
Yeah.
Kaprizov doesn't look right.
Something's off with him.
Yeah,
And
like
Boldy,
live,
too.
it really didn't look right.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess
So
the
he's
one
not-
game, it would have been the last game. I don't even think he had a shot on net. So I don't know, maybe he's battling something, but yeah, they need him to be that 100-point Kaprizov guy that we've seen since he came over
You
here.
think he needs a little road to pine?
Yeah, that's going around the league.
Oh, it's going around. We should hop into that right now while Murls is on.
I actually don't know, like, are you making that or is this a joke?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know with him. Like, he could be making this.
We might make it though eventually, but right now we're not. But yeah, I don't know exactly.
Well, you know what, Murls? Like all you do for us and Game Notes, which is crushing it. The numbers are great.
Awesome.
You and Army are doing a hell of a job. You have to grind these late nights to come on with us. It was nice for you to get some games over where you live and get to go down and have a nice weekend. So, as always, thank you for your coverage. And I'm glad that you didn't have to travel one of those 18-hour travel days to come see the boys and see some NHL action.
Murls and Friday this week, right? Game Notes will be on Friday this week because of American Thanksgiving Thursday. So the Black Friday Game Notes extravaganza will be happening on Friday.
Yep. And I just talked to Elio. Wednesday night, I'll be on Mr. Ice because there's no games Tuesday. And then we got Game Notes Friday. And it is a lot easier coming home from those 4-day benders, and there's no flight over the ocean. This is nothing. Now.
Oh, it was easier than Vegas to Houston to Jersey to Munich to Stockholm train ride to fucking Sundsvall.
Amazing race.
Will you get a little American Thanksgiving action over there for just you guys, or?
Yeah, we got some good plans for the weekend. After the weekend, I'll find out if I'm able to release them, and I'll maybe let you guys know on Game Notes next week.
Ooh, love a tease.
Okay, Mur. Well, great job. Keep crushing it. Our European correspondent, EBR, the man, Matt Merling.
One question on the way out, Murls. What do you do for the old lady now that she gave you the green light for Sunday? As a husband, how do you repay your wife for that type of?
Just goes down on her for like 4 hours.
You got to get the alphabet going with the tongue, or
Yeah,
what?
I know I put up a Christmas tree today. I got to get the big Christmas present that I probably wasn't going to get her. Now I got to get her. She knows what she's doing, and then just every little extra thing. But she was happy to let me do it. She knows I got to work hard, and shout out to her.
All right, and
Wife of the
final
year.
thing, Biz wants you to take down that wreath because anyone who has Christmas ornaments is a scumbag and a loser.
Exactly.
So,
and if you text me on my birthday or Christmas, I'll fucking kill you.
Grinching it.
Yeah. I'll slit your throat, EBR style.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys go and get into it. I'm off to bed. Thanks for having me.
All right, man.
Thanks to everybody I met down there. Everybody was so cool, buying beers, saying hello, taking pictures, everything. The best.
Yeah.
Chiclets fans are the best out there.
Yeah, rest that jaw up, buddy.
See ya, Mur.
See ya, Mur.
Before we go any farther, we're here to talk about Pink Whitney. We've talked about the New York City trip, but actually, before we get into that, it's Thanksgiving week. What a perfect time to surprise everyone in your family or your friend group for Friendsgiving and bring over a monster bottle of Pink Whitney or maybe a couple package of the Nips. Watching football, drinking some Pink Whitney, a nice cool fall day, getting ready to eat some turkey. You can mix some soda water in. You can do it as a shot. You can just chug the bottle. It's up to you. But it's a holiday drink that everyone can get a part of. And what leads into that is the Pink Whitney New York City trip. We've talked about it. If you think your friend is the ultimate life of the party, nominate them right now and you could win a Pink Whitney New York City trip. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. Hey, can you rig this for me? Nope, I can't. This is open to everyone. One lucky winner will receive the epic New York City trip for them and 3 friends, complete with a tour of Barstool headquarters, meet the personalities that haven't moved to Chicago, see the offices, see where the magic happens while drinking some Pink Whitney. And the 10 secondary prize winners will receive Pink Whitney party packs with everything you and your crew need to take your shot and throw the ultimate house party. It's easy to enter. Go to pinkwhitney.com to enter your info. And also with Thanksgiving, Jell-O shots. Everyone enjoys a Jell-O shot. What about a Pink Whitney Jell-O shot? You get the apple pie with vanilla ice cream. You get the pumpkin pie. You get another dessert you might like, and you hammer down some Pink Whitney Jell-O shots. So maybe that's a little holiday change we get going with Pink Whitney. Like I said, nominate your friend for the life of the party, the New York City trip, and make sure you include some examples and describe how they were always making the party next level. So get on over right now to pinkwhitney.com and enter your info. And of course, make sure you head on over to your local bar or liquor store and get some Pink Whitney down your throat. Catch the buzz. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Big thanks to our buddy Mur, doing big work over in Sweden last week. What a big scoop too, huh? Munich next year. Awesome stuff.
We might have to get over there for that.
I was saying to you earlier, Biz, 9.9% of the players in the league last season were born in Sweden, 105 of them. Second highest total after 2019-2020 when 11% of the league was born in Sweden. Pretty enough.
Hey, they're evolving too, especially in the goaltender position, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You've seen quite a few come through the last couple of years. So a great job by the NHL to bring those world premiere games over there and even expand by bringing 4. Excellent job by everybody involved. I know how hard these people behind the scenes from the league work to put these events on. So kudos to them, stick taps. And once again, thanks to the Mur.
Yeah, it was the NHL's first 4-team event in one city outside of North America. First time they ever pulled that off. So, like, we're talking about what are they going to do now? Like, the NBA is doing this in-season tournament. I read the rules for it. What do you think of it? It's just weird to have like this in-season cup, I guess.
I love it.
I actually hate that league, but I love it. And I just owned my father-in-law, that pigeon Dave. I just owned him. He was dogging it. I said, hold on. I said, he was ripping on the court. I said, all right, the courts look a little goofy.
But guess who's talking about the court?
But everyone's kind of talking about it. Everybody. You and I, we were like, what's going on with the court? Well, all of a sudden, people are chatting about the court. They got different uniforms for the games. They have a big, I think each player, I want to say, wins $500,000. Each player of the winning team, whoever wins that. So all of a sudden, you get guys competing a little harder in a regular season in that league where a lot of times they got, what do they call it?
Load management.
They got the load management. They got the rest. They got people paying big money to go see their favorite player. He's not playing that night. Well, now all of a sudden, I think it ends December 9th, but you at least have the beginning of the regular season probably a little bit more intense. Now, granted, the money in the NBA, $500,000 for these guys, it's not like life-changing, but still there's some guys on each team, $500,000 bonus if we take this thing down. So it makes these games a little more entertaining.
Their stripper money.
Yeah, there you go. Magic City. We're in Atlanta.
One night for James
There we
Harden.
go. So yeah,
Yeah, it was fucking his fashion budget for Barney's.
Then you got New Jersey, so you're selling merch, right? That's more money generated. You got better games. You got the court getting some talk, even though some of them are goofy. I think it's actually a pretty solid idea. I don't know if it could work in the NHL, considering like you're working towards the Stanley Cup. It's a little different, but I think the NBA kind of hit a home run with this because it's just an intensity to the regular season in a league that people complain about the regular season all the time. So I don't know if it would work in hockey, but it's kind of interesting, at least in the NBA. I wonder how the ratings will do. I'm sure that final championship game will be a hard-fought battle in that league, where usually a December 9th game, who cares?
If the NHL does do it, they got to do all games on Sundays and go right at the fucking
1 o'clock
NFL,
puck drop.
especially with those special jerseys that they got going. But wait, you pretty much hit every nail on the head there. Like, you know, some fans, like, not only do they love the game, but they do love the game for like the silly things like the jerseys and the merchandise. So that just, you know, creates more revenue stream. I don't know about like coloring the ice or doing anything silly like that. But as you said, that special court, everybody's like, what's going on with this gimmicky court, right? So you're asking the questions, therefore you're more involved. It looked like most of the games were also sold out. And listen, for me, in and out of the lineup, I played half the games every year, 41 games. I was always up for games. But for some of these guys who are playing 20 minutes a night, you know, game 15 can be a little bit like, you know, monotonous. Is that the word?
Monotonous.
Monotonous. Thank you, Whit.
I think.
So to create like a little bit of extra motivation, the money situation for players, especially at that time in the league. I think it just gets everybody playing at their best, and during the lull of the start of the season, it gets more fans engaged for something that they might deem silly. But the biggest component to everything for the NBA, in my eyes, is the fact that they're not adding more games to the schedule.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
all
same regular
season. It's all
season.
in the midst of the regular season. So for me, it's a home run, and I think that the NHL should definitely consider either taking something like this on and or doing a best on best every other year, every 3 years.
Which is what we're hearing now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Weeks, like there was a week ago. He
Breaking news?
No, well, I'm not so much this week. He said, I'm told there are ongoing discussions between involved parties for a potential scaled down World Cup of Hockey featuring only NHL players, perhaps in 2025 on a potential timeline between the Super Bowl and March Madness. And then Bill Daly, my stunt double, said, we're hoping to have an international tournament in February 2025. We're working with the Players Association on the construct of that. Then after that, we would like to be in a regular rotation between the Olympics and the World Cup every other year, one or the other. Chris Johnston, great reporter, said the tourney won't have 8 teams. It's going to be fewer than that. And it's thought right now that Russia's not going to be participating.
Which is kind of like,
it sucks
I mean,
for those guys.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this. Do you think that the NHL belongs at the Olympics?
So we've talked about this in length. I do. I just think it's that special, and it was that. And granted, I got to be a part of one, sort of, but it was like it was just, and it was also it was in
Road to
Vancouver. It was in Road to
By
Pine.
Ryan
I was
Whitney.
spraying that all over myself, but it was incredible. And now it was Vancouver, and like there was so many different storylines.
Are you
involved.
single then?
Think so. Yeah, I think so.
You just get CTE for me asking you that?
Yeah, I was. It was a lot of fun. I didn't leave the athletic village once.
I heard that in that Olympics they went through 200,000 rubbers.
Oh, really?
In the
Yeah.
really,
So
How many
you
was
weren't there. so listen. The thing
I've said this time and time again. I just tie my foreskin. I just tie a knot on the end.
I understand the owner's complaints, but I just as a fan of the game, I want them back in the Olympics. I think it's that incredible. But if we're gonna look at something else besides the Olympics, get rid of All-Star Weekend. And have that every other year.
Yeah.
So every other year there's an all-star game, and every other year there's this best on best. Kevin Weeks mentioned only NHL players. I guess that's a little confusing for some fans. Some of these teams bring over the top players in maybe the Finnish league and the Swedish league. Like Canada and the US, you're not going to see any guys that aren't in the NHL. Even for Sweden, I don't think you would. But maybe some other countries, Germany,
I have an idea.
Finland. What do you got?
Maybe non-NHL players, they tried, I don't know who would be in charge of it, but they put together the best team possible of guys not playing in the NHL.
They would get worked.
I disagree with you.
So hold on. So you're going to have Team USA NHLers play Team USA of Americans that aren't in the NHL.
No, you would put a world team together of players not playing in the NHL. So
Yeah, they had that in the Olympics in what was it, 18? It was horrible. It was cool to watch, but it was...
No, but you're saying they had the best non-NHL
in the entire world.
So you could take there might be 3-4 guys from the KHL. You've said this yourself that there's players playing in the KHL who could probably be point of game guys in the National Hockey League, but they're 30 years old and they're hucking back the gas and they're probably making $5 million tax free, living and playing somewhere they're comfortable. So assembling a team of the best non-NHLers. There's probably guys from Finland we've never heard of who can play in the NHL.
But they're playing NHLers.
They're playing against the best team
They're
you could
getting
assemble.
thumped.
I don't know, man.
They're getting thumped.
I don't know. That's a good discussion for everybody who's listening to this podcast.
Well, especially if you can't have any Russian guys in, which, by the way,
how about
we
this?
need Russia. If we're doing best on best, we need Russia. I don't know if that thing's ending anytime soon.
Penalizing those guys because they got a dickhead dictator.
Yeah, we can't have Vasilevsky.
No, they're fucking
Obi.
punishing them because they fucking cheat, RA. They're all gassing up. What do you mean? That's why they're punishing them, not because of Putin.
Giving us good stories. But obviously US will have a team, Canada will have a team, but I was thinking would they make a Nordic team like Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Denmark?
Love the name.
Pros from there. You know what I mean? Because you won't have enough NHLers from just probably Sweden or Finland.
You can't put Sweden and Finland on the same
know.
team.
Yeah, exactly. No way. They wouldn't even do it.
Yeah.
No,
what are they going to do, though?
You could have teams of Swedish.
No, RA. I think that it would be Russia, Sweden, Finland, Canada, US.
Germany's awesome now too.
Yeah, that's
Well, he's saying if it's only NHL, Germany couldn't.
Yeah, true.
That's
But you're saying maybe put together like Germany,
Czech,
Austria.
I think Czech and Slovakia would be put together, and then put Germany and a couple other team. Where's Zuccarello from? Norway.
Switzerland.
I think he's from Norway.
Yeah, he's Norwegian.
Yeah. No, but like I wrote here, U.S., Canada, then like I said, the Nordic countries, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, and then the rest of Europe, like whatever, like Czech, Germany.
I think you go U.S., Canada, Sweden, Finland, the rest of everyone else in Europe. That's 5. So I guess, what did they say it would be 4 teams? Or
But they said it's not going to be 8. It's going to be fewer than 8.
Gotta have at least 6.
As of now, it's not going to have Russia. So but do you have enough Finns that are NHLers to fill out a roster though? Are there 23 Finns in the league that can fill out a roster for Finland? Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Right, yeah, I don't know, but it's gonna be because they're gonna have to do something though. I mean, they're not gonna be able to have like every.
I would agree with you guys though on abolishing the All-Star game as a result of getting either of those 2 Olympics back, the best on best put together by the NHL. I vote best on best put on by the NHL simply because that from a financial standpoint, I don't think for what the NHL provides the Olympics that they're compensated fairly enough, or if at all. Like I would say the best event going on in the Winter Olympics is ice hockey.
Yeah, but don't you think it's good for the sport that on the world's biggest stage, you have the sport's best players for the whole world to see? It helps grow the game, I think.
I personally believe it depends where it is. Like when it went to China,
Agreed.
I don't think anybody is
That's
watching.
fair.
Well, yeah, the times it's on really does affect
And
it.
I think that the people outside of that love hockey and the countries that are playing in it from a global scale don't necessarily give a fuck.
If they had their own World Cup, a legit kind of like the Olympics, but just NHL sponsored and ran, it would be just as big.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
I think the NHL's biggest potential growth, for me, is in the United States. Of any country that you could pinpoint, I still think there's such a major chunk of the United States audience that you can capture. That's why a best on North American soil, and even if it's mainly played in the US, I don't give a fuck. I think there's so much room for growth, and it's over here. That's why, to me, going to the Olympics, like your casual hockey fan from America ain't getting up to watch Olympic hockey. I personally don't think.
Oh, buddy, I don't know if you're right about that.
I think that they're just as tuned in for an NHL put on best.
Yeah.
Like when they had the World Cup of Hockey, when it was on North American soil. That to me is the last time that I feel like North America.
Are you talking 96?
Yes.
Well, that was also played in Europe, which was the coolest part about that, is they had games over in Europe and games in North America. And then the final was in
Salt Lake City?
Philly and then Montreal.
Okay, so I would imagine then it was the States and Canada were playing their division on North American soil, where Finland and Sweden played over on. Perfect. Do that again then. And we'll send Murl to Sweden to get buckled, and then we can meet up halfway.
I'll say this: best on best. I think the U.S. is smashing Canada next time we play.
So
look at our goalies. Who's your goalie? Who's Canada's goalie? Think about that. We got Hellebuck, we got Ottinger, we got Demko. Who do you have?
Binnington all day, blocker sandwich in your face, and I would take him.
Snap show.
We got Quinn Hughes.
Time out. Binnington's been playing some great hockey this year.
I didn't say he wasn't.
And when the chips are on the table, you go back to the cup run, and then even 2 years ago when they got beat out by the Avs, if he doesn't get hurt by Kadri there with that collision, I think that was the toughest series they had. Where were we quickly? The Canadian versus US argument, I agree that it's neck and neck now, but when you're looking at top end talent, I still lean.
Okay, McDavid, McKinnon, Makar. Fuck Hughes, Quinn Hughes, two Hughes.
Put Crosby in the mix because
Crosby's not saying Crosby's embarrassing. What he's still doing is a joke.
The Kachucks. You had the
Kachucks, dude. I mean, Robertson. It's like me saying smash you guys is maybe a little bit. I'm out over my skis, but buddy, it is no longer like we're underdogs.
No.
It is no longer at all. And actually, right before we got on, I saw Bucci retweet a tweet. And I don't know about TNT. I'm sure it's very similar. But ESPN's games are up 22% this year.
That's awesome.
They're up 44% in 18 to 36-year-olds. which is from last year.
That's why I said they need to smash this best on best tournament in the United States. The growth is there. ESPN's doing a great job. That Frozen Frenzy they did.
Yeah, and I think we might get one more of those this year. It might have been Weeksy. Weeksy mentioned we might get
just
one
breaking
more.
everything. Holy shit.
Yeah, with half his face in the picture. He's an animal.
Just his 5-head.
Yeah, he said NHL Frozen Friendly. It's not going to be a one-hit wonder. It's likely to return prior to the end of this regular season, and also growing the game. They're going to do one of those like cartoon things, like the NFL
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's with Nickelodeon, but they're going to do some sort of animated version. That's the best way to get kids.
I think they did that last year.
Yeah,
at one point.
Wasn't it earlier this? Was it earlier this season?
What type of collab would you like to see the NHL do other than maybe a Nickelodeon? Would there be any other collab with whether
Simpsons?
Yeah, that would be okay. Simpsons would be fun. All right, you'd be all over that. Like maybe a cartoon version, like mixing Family Guy.
South Park would be awesome, just because it would like shut all like the liberal hockey fans up. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? There's liberal hockey fans?
Oh yeah, just go on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean? Like with a TV channel, kind of?
Like just any maybe like reality TV collab or catching up with the Kardashian NHL, anything you could think of off the board. Now that wouldn't be my submission for everyone punching their fucking steering wheel right now.
We're not going to do one with like YouPorn biz. So
no, I never said that. Maybe you jizz, but maybe some browsers action. Get a little swipe up, 20% off.
OnlyFans, make some money. Oh, come on,
NHL.
Come on, that's a good collab.
William Nylander and Madison Beer's sex tape revealed on the broadcast.
I pay a lot for that.
Oh my
come
God,
on.
G.
They are hot.
Oh God, you're going to be getting hit with shrapnel. But give it some thought, maybe till the end of the podcast, and we could submit our results.
All right. This ain't reality TV. That fucking line in The Departed with. Remember when Jack, that might be the worst line he says. He's yelling about something. And he goes, this ain't reality TV. I just thought that.
Who said it?
Jack Nicholson and The Departed. I forget what he's yelling about something. It's just such a fucking weird line. I just said reality TV. I mean, think of The Departed. But
I got you.
We give the league props when they have it coming. The other day, I thought the schedule was great.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one. A collab. I want them to do a collab with Netflix. I want to see a series that follows the NHL like they did with the NFL, like quarterback,
like HBO did, like with following the teams that are playing outdoor classic. Or you're talking about follow some individual players?
I want 5 players, 5 different teams.
Hockey guys
follow them all season.
Oh, yeah,
I think they would.
First
Tell me Trevor Zegras is going to say no to that. Zach Benson in Buffalo, the Carney.
Nah,
I want
pump
him.
the fucking I love the kid, but you can't throw him in the mix already. So obviously Nylander
would.
100,000%. He's one of the guys. Who would be the other 4 that you'd like to follow?
I'd love to watch Goalie. I'd love to, but he's pretty private.
He's private guy.
Goalie, and
you know what? Who I think would be awesome on it in a different perspective than William Nylander is family man Brent Burns.
That would be awesome.
Would be great. Pasta would be excellent.
Alexander Ovechkin in his pursuit for the goal record. I think he would be awesome.
Wow, great nod.
Well, even the issue is though, like, quarterbacks won't even do it now. They did the first one and like nobody's saying yes to do the next one. I think it's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, but the amount of pressure on an NFL quarterback compared to maybe just like a first line left winger, we're talking different stratospheres
and the
here.
money that Netflix can play these guys, like it's NHL players aren't getting quarterback money, you know what I mean? Where they're getting, even backups are getting 15, 20 million. Trevor Zegras, $5 million. Like, why wouldn't you take?
You'd have to follow. Zegras would have to be another name in the mix. As far as a goaltender, who would be the most entertaining goaltender to follow?
Bennington would be awesome because he buys into it.
Maybe I don't know if Flower's going to be playing next year, boys. This might be his last dance.
Flower would be awesome because he does the pranks and stuff all around the locker. He would be a great guy.
All right. Well, I'm sure that's going to be another social media question for everybody. Who would be the 5 NHLers you'd want?
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Sport Clips. Your hair may grow fast, but after going to Sport Clips haircuts, you'll wish it grew even faster. That's because Sport Clips has the best seats in here, and that may or may not be because they happen to be right in front of TVs playing sports all day, every day. We know that watching sports while getting a haircut sure beats watching your reflection get a haircut, which is why at Sport Clips, every day is clippers and curveballs, high tops and Hail Marys, and even waves and wickets, if you're into that kind of thing. At Sport Clips, you can check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. So yeah, Come watch an endless stream of sports on TV while getting an awesome haircut. I got one around the block for me, man. Place is dynamite. Boom, sit down, take it down the nub, watch a little hockey. Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
Now, when they did the other series, whether it was the F1 or the golfing, how many players did they follow around? Was it 5?
Golf went to tournaments, and then each tournament they would pick 3 to 4 guys to follow throughout the tournament. F1's just the entire circuit that they go around. So I don't think they actually picked like 5 guys for an entire season in any of those.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they had the F1 in Vegas this past weekend. I guess it was a shit show. Like, fucking, the first time they went out, the guy drove, he hit a fucking sewer cap. They
got
weld
penalized
it down.
for it.
Yeah, they didn't weld it down enough because they say the cars are going so fast that if they're not welded down, the suction will just fucking rip it right out of the ground. That's what happened. It damaged like 3 of the fucking cars. Yeah, they've been complaining. All the people work out there have been complaining about
I've talked to a few people who went, and it was just a money grab.
Yeah.
It was pathetic.
Even Verstappen, he won it, and he was ripping on the entire. He said it was more a spectacle. It wasn't about the sport. Which, I mean, the problem is, I think they got 9 more years in Vegas.
It's not just
for first year being.
Well, they raised the rooms like easily over double the amount of normal. Then they thought they were going to be over capacity. They only ended up selling out 50% of the rooms for the weekend, and because they were given the rooms at discount, they were blocking so you couldn't see out and watch the race for your room.
No
they
way.
said leave it blurred out because they wanted to force you to have to go spend money. I talked to people said it cost $75 cab ride, and they were like a block away from where they had to go, but because it was just such chaos. The restaurants and the hotels, like a sushi place, $20 for a piece of fish of sushi. Just an obnoxious money grab. And when you're talking about the racing, the common fan, they're not rich. They're they're middle class people.
But I think this is more of a Euro crowd. I think like a loaded Euro.
I think the
Euro
F1.
crowd.
Well, it tells you how many people were actually invested into it by how many went, and it wasn't sold out, and it did about 50% of the amount that they thought they was.
The dealers made out though. I saw Joe Pompliano tweeted that dealers at the win in Las Vegas split $700,000 in tips on just Saturday alone. That means each dealer went home with $2,000 in tips, 5 to 6 times more than their $350 average, and the highest amount in wins 18-year history. I guess F1 wasn't so bad. So at least someone made out.
Right. So the rich people showed up.
Exactly.
The common man did.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't getting tipped out on the penny
They
slots.
like booting people off the pedestrian bridges. They like had that blocked off too. Like they would like get out of here. Not even during the race. People were just trying to peek out there.
Yeah, we kind of went off the rails there.
That's
No
all right.
pun intended. But I love all this talk about where the league's headed and all these different things you're doing, because I think with traditional sports is you have to mix in some of this new school in order to keep the attention span up, especially throughout the long 82 game season.
Absolutely. Yeah. We give the league props when they do good things. Like the other day, there was 14, 15 hours of hockey on Saturday, 11 o'clock in the morning, all the way till 2 in the morning. Good stuff. But we got to call them out when they do some foolish things. Like we talked about before, this deal with Fanatics. I mean, when it broke, everybody was dumping all over. I was like, are they that bad? I said before, go to that Fanatics Sucks site and you see exactly why everybody
Twitter
hates
account.
it.
It's the Twitter account, right?
The Twitter account. What did I say?
Site.
Okay. Then for whatever reason, the fucking app, they messed with the NHL app. Perfect for all these years. Worked fine. Fucking Army went off on it the other day on game notes. They fucked with the website. It's just a clusterfuck. And then,
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't
The
like-
app- the app and the website thing, that is elementary, man. Like, you need to have that stuff dialed in. The NHL website and app should be as accurate as humanly possible for right exactly where the game is on the game clock. Whoever scores the goals, get the goals up quick. They can't even get the goals right. They got repeated goals on the app over and over. It'll say 3-0, 3 different goal scores. It's the same 3 goals with the same 2 assists. It's like, at this point, you would think somebody, like, there's people working overnight trying to fix this thing, but we're close. We're close to 20 games in here, and it's the same
gotten
exact
worse.
thing. It's gotten worse. I don't know what they're doing with that. And the NFTs, I mean, give them credit there. NFTs, they're up. They're coming up. They're hot. They're going to be the next big thing. They might have started that when they were like hot.
100%.
And now all
I
of a
know,
sudden
but
they're
buddy, come on. If you're telling me it takes 2 to 3 years to execute on something like that.
Well, half the people at the
how
company
about this?
probably got fired.
Focus the electronics team on the fucking
On the
website, on the website and the fucking app, as opposed to worrying about NFTs. Now, going back to the app and the website, from my understanding, the reason why it's different is they tried to update all these like analytics, advanced stats, like how fast the players are traveling out there, how fast their shots were. Now, I get that there's a crowd out there that wants to know that stuff, but like in the grand scheme of things, who gives a fuck?
Show me how much time.
Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck that the guy shot at 105 miles an hour. And if you want to have that type of stuff, build its own specific website, and or there probably is websites out there that have that. So you've completely butchered your fucking app and website to show these things that like nerds want to go see. How fast was he skating when he went down the wing to score that goal? Like nobody gives a flying fuck. And they change it every 2-3 years. And by the time you get accustomed to it, you go back to it and everything's different again. So go back to the original website and app or whatever the fuck you guys were doing before. And enough with this speed burst, the shot radar, and whatever other bullshit you're trying to put on in order to ruin your app.
Remember the event summary sheet you get after the game where you can go on, it shows every guy. It's like goals, assists, points, time on ice, block shots, giveaways, takeaways. Remember those sheets? You maybe were never on them, so you don't know. But now, like, to get all the info when the game ends, during the game on the app, you can see time on ice and everything. The game ends, you got to go to the bottom of the page. You got to find event summary. You got to click. It's like, guys, this is not that hard. It's almost one of those things where you're right. They tried getting so in depth. It's like, keep it simple.
Simplify.
Goals, assist, video of the goal, time left in the game, power play, no power play.
Like,
it's not that hard.
And like they don't hyperlink the player names or the teams. Like you should be able to just click on a guy's name and
To
go
get
to
his
page.
stats,
Yeah,
exactly.
And as far as all that other stuff is, like the fucking nerd stuff, that shouldn't affect like. You should be able to see a goalie's record on the fucking page. They don't even have the goalie's like proper record. They have like his wins and shutouts. It's like, where the fuck's his losses and all the other stats? It just makes no fucking sense. But back to I guess they're technically digital collectibles. I will try to fucking bore you with explain the difference between NFTs. But either way, it started back in 2022. That's when they announced the collaboration with this company called Sweet. And obviously the market since then.
Well, Grinelli, remember he told us they were like he put half his net worth into it.
I bought the Justin Bieber NFT that got me like free concerts for life for Biebs.
How much did that cost you?
It was like $1,000.
And so what did it provide you? Why were you interested?
I was told that it was a gold mine, and if I bought it, it would be worth 50x what it's going to be worth.
He was told it was a gold mine from people on Twitter, man. You got to
100%.
understand where he's coming from.
Twitter and Reddit.
What were the other ones that went off? The Bored Apes?
Bored Apes, yeah.
What those gotta be worth?
But then people were spending like $1 million. Like Mike Malak, like Logan Paul's like right hand man, he bought one I think for like $800,000, and like 2 weeks later it was worth nothing. Like imagine that stress, that anxiety.
I'm not trying to sound cool. I don't even know what these NHL NFTs. I don't even know if you own one. What do you get?
It's 6 highlights for $19.
And you can watch these highlights whenever you want on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
Am I missing something?
I guess you would technically own the digital rights to that highlight, I guess, in that form.
If we bought them, could we post them to our Instagram and talk over them?
We'd still get C Indeed.
Okay.
We'd still get C Indeed.
You think?
100%.
Yeah. To me, it was a gimmicky thing that ripped people off, and all these horror stories about how much people lost are coming to light now and after the fact, and the fact that they launched this on Twitter and tell people like the backlash it got was enough to tell you what to do with it. Throw it out the window, cancel it, just like the Fanatics deal, just like the app guy and the website guy.
Fanatics was paying them though.
That's true.
This one, it's got to be such a kick in the dick to drop your big news and then have 99% of the comments just carving you. They're like, oh shit. Like
I feel like they
somebody
knew.
pressed like send on that. They're like, here we go. And then boom, you just get drilled with comments.
If you're spending $20 on a couple of highlights, what do you think RA's ass scratching NFT would get?
I think that would go for big money.
Yeah, me too.
And it's a scratch and sniff NFT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big time.
Here we go.
You smell like sweat, coffee, crack, and
Road to Pine.
and an old Bruins jersey.
Hey, and with that NFT, you get RA's sweat rag, one of his sweat rags, and he'll come take a shit at your house and clog your toilet.
on shit.
And he will come over and make you a GG special.
Oh, there we go.
We basically are doing this with our Black Friday sale with RA.
Are we?
Yeah, we're doing.
This?
No, we're doing the. Remember we talked about this, where if you spend, I believe it's $500 in merchandise, you are able to go to a Bruins game with RA in Boston.
Oh, that's actually sick.
Yeah,
I forgot I committed to that.
Yeah, dinner and a Bruins game with RA.
Did we tell RA this when we left him in Cali? Do you remember the shape this guy was in?
Oh my, how have we not talked about our Cali trip?
All right, of everyone listening, we can kind of go into what happened. I've never in my life seen, we drove away from this guy. He was on the side, he was on a sidewalk. I said, there is not a chance in hell. Forget getting on the plane. He's not even going to get to the airport. And I guess a guy gave you a gummy.
Gave me a package of gummies, yeah. And he said, all right, just take one at a time. And I was like, okay, this guy knows the drill. And I ate half of one. And then I had like 2 drinks. I mean, we didn't start drinking.
No, there was no drinking involved.
I was with him the whole
That was the
time.
craziest thing.
And
Well, we took probably 4 or 5 shots, but
yeah, but that was it. I mean, it fucking whammy, dude. It was 75 milligram gummy, which I mean, I've walked that back before, but yeah, it sent me for a loop because when I saw the video of myself, I was like, "What? Wow, I look fucking."
I walked into that. What was the bar we did that?
Danny K's.
Danny K's, awesome spot, walking distance.
Well,
to
we
the
kind
Honda
of
Center.
we got to give a little bit of a backstory. So we did do the California trip. We started in Newport, and then did the podcast with RA. Did a couple interviews. We did a couple of appearances. We went to a bottle signing, and then Danny K's as a bar, and then we went off to San Diego to do 2 Sandbaggers, and then we said bye to RA, who flew back cross country. Now at the second
without a plane, I just
at the second Pink Whitney appearance, that's when you were handed this 150 milligram gummy in which you decided to eat half of it.
75, yeah. Half. Well, I did go half. I mean, I know my limits. Well, with milligrams.
yeah.
What do you mean you know your
You're a
limits?
limit guy.
75 milligrams. Like even if you're used to potency, that if I took maybe 10 milligrams, I'd be.
I think a 10 milligram would make me feel pretty looped.
But 75 would put me into a fucking coma.
At Danny K's, I was with him at one end of the bar because when we got in, remember they had some food for us, so we ate. And then I started just mingling around, meeting fans. Great people. I said on the show last week, like the hockey fandom in Southern California and the Ducks fan base is way stronger than I remember. But so I'm walking around mingling, and it must have been 20 minutes. And this guy's like, "You see RA?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" I was just with him. He was fine. And I went back over, and it was an absolute roller coaster. He was like, I was like, what the fuck happened? He was like, gummy. I was like, holy shit. People were taking pictures with him like he was a wax statue, putting him in headlocks and shit. So I'm impressed you got to the airport and got on the plane.
2 planes.
There you go. All right.
So
I forgot about that.
So back to the NFTs. We got to get the RA whacked out on gummy NFT. We got to get the Warthog, the OG Warthog.
The butt scratch.
The butt scratcher. The basketball shot NFT might go for the most.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you had to pick one more RA NFT, what would it be?
The skull.
The toe cheese, when he wiped his toe cheese on me during the live stream.
When he wiped the toe cheese on me. That was the same night as the original Warthog, too.
Yes,
he was in one.
No, the Warthog was at the house in Charlestown.
That's where the toe cheese was.
No, I thought that was
that was in Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa,
I think
went.
toe cheese was in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
No, toe cheese Tampa.
When have we been in Tampa?
It was in Jupiter. Thank you very much, Sean.
Yeah, he's
It's
right.
Jupiter, accept it.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. But oh my God. Okay, so we've been all over the map this pod. But quickly going back to California, we have 2 awesome fucking sandbaggers coming out. We got JR, Jeremy Roenick, and Teemu Selanne, 2 Hall of Famers. While Teemu is, I think JR should be in, and I think we talk about that in the bagger. And then Kevin Conley from Action Park Media, Entourage, all the shows. And then Sean Avery as well. So we got 2 locked and loaded. Pasha's going to be editing those, and some great interviews coming out soon. So
I think the coolest part of the JR and Teemu as someone who's kind of just on the outside looking in was the amount of hockey stories that were told throughout that. It was a bit of a different Sandbagger in that like we stopped a lot. We were stopping and talking and telling stories, which was so awesome because who has better stories than those
Both
2
guys told, I'd say, 3 to 4 like 3-4 minute stories in the middle of the round. There was not another group on the course. Unreal golf.
What a Delmar Country Club.
JR's course. Although, talk about slow playing. We teed off with Conley and Aves at 11:30. And I looked on the third tee box. It was 12:40. I was like, holy shit. Remember the guy played through us screaming at us as a joke? An hour and 15 minutes to play 2 fucking golf holes. So that was a great bagger, though. They both were awesome. I can't wait to
the one story, I won't spoil it, but Teemu gives the whole backstory for his shooting the glove, like shooting the duck celebration. And I thought that was scored on one of his last goals of that season. It was actually, he did that celebration on the goal in which he broke the rookie goal record.
I think it was Esposito's record.
Yeah. I think it was his 56th or 57th goal of that season in which he did that. So
and he got 7.
He tells the whole awesome backstory behind that. So look out for those baggers.
Awesome entourage stories from Kevin Conley too.
So much good stuff coming at you guys. And was there anything else we needed to talk about that trip?
I don't think so. I don't think we found out about your tarot card night yet. How did that go?
I didn't get a reading. I mentioned that. I did not.
Right.
But my wife went down for one, and the person said, "Your husband is he's fierce."
Oh.
I said, "I'll take fierce, and I'll be fucking called fierce. I'll take fierce." I mean, I wasn't very fierce on the ice, but if this tarot card lady thinks I'm fierce and is telling my wife and maybe convincing her I'm fierce, that's a win for me.
Was it based on a card she flipped over?
There was 2 women, and one woman was the card, and you pick like 5 cards or something, and the other one just like, I don't know, man. I'm not really into all that stuff. But,
How was she?
But they were older. They were very nice women. They were down in the
Miss
basement.
Cleo?
And they came up and said, "You guys have a great group of friends." So it was a cool night. It was. I'm not into that whole stuff. I like where my life's at. I like, I don't really want to hear something that would necessarily change my.
You strike me as the guy who's into astrology.
Yeah, that's me.
Bunch of Odomé Browns.
When I take a 75 milligram gummy with RA and try wandering around the
Get at it.
Southern California parking lot.
Imagine trying to find your car at Logo and fucking.
On that trip, that's what happened. I lost my car. I flew Delta out there. And then I wasn't thinking, I've done that before where it's a different airline on the way home and I'll just park in whatever terminal I'm going to be landing with and then just figure it out when you get there. But I just didn't even think. I was Alaskan Airlines on the way home.
Ooh.
Not horrible though. It wasn't a terrible airline, but I landed and I was like, oh shit. And 40 minutes, I'm walking around two different parking garages. I'm trying to set the alarm off on my car. It was a disaster. I finally found it and got home. But it was, there was some F-bombs being thrown around in my own brain as I couldn't find my car.
Was it Allen Iverson who he would always forget where he parked his car and he would just leave it and just go buy a new one?
I think you're thinking that he would leave the clothes in every city he was in.
No, I'm pretty sure
you changed it to cars. It was clothes. They both think it was C.
Can I get some help here? Fish, fuck you. We got the guys behind the scenes laughing at me now. Fuck you guys.
It was he would buy a new wardrobe every city.
I understand that that's a fucking story, but there's somebody out there. There is an NBA player where he would forget where he put his car, or he would get it towed and he wouldn't go get it out of the tow place. He would just go buy a new car. There's a story, and I'm pretty sure it's Allen Iverson who would do that. So correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll take the L and I'll wear it next podcast.
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Game Time. The exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports is Game Time, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. All kinds of stuff coming up cheap. Winter Classic, if you're going to Seattle for the game, boom, Game Time, they'll hook it up. Couple taps, couple seconds, you're all set. It's all possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. They'll even credit you 110% of the seat price if you can find a better deal elsewhere. You can also get limited time discounts with exclusive flash deals. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website Enter your email and redeem code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We got to give G a round of snaps here. Chiclets, you dropped last week.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What a facility.
Yeah, UMass. How incredible is
What a
that place?
facility.
And the access that Carvel gave us was just unprecedented. It was awesome.
Powers from ASU, the head coach, was not happy with my comment. Was I right in saying that I think UMass's facilities are just a tad nicer than ASU's, both being absolutely stunning and beautiful, but UMass looked a little bit newer?
Yeah, UMass just recently renovated their whole thing. They won the national championship in 2021. 2022 is when they renovated the whole locker room. So last year. So this stuff is all brand new. And the cool thing is, like the Mullet Center, they have their own sheet of ice, which I think is just, I mean, Taylor McCarr said, he's like, anytime, any day,
awesome.
I can go down, break out the pucks and go shoot. So it's on YouTube. We have
Where's next?
We're workshopping next.
Okay.
We filmed with two schools. I'll say it. We filmed with Northeastern, which is really cool because Northeastern is the oldest ice rink, active ice rink in the world, which is really, really cool. The Matthews Arena is the old, currently
In the world?
In the world is the oldest current active. I mean, the Bruins would play there in like 1910. So it's an old arena. And then we did BC, which was with fourth overall pick, Will Smith. I embarrassed myself a lot in the video, but it's really cool. We were doing competitions against each other the whole time. So it's, we've also had tons of schools reach out since this video came out, which is really,
Yeah, it's a recruiting tool. I watched it and want to go to UMass now.
exactly. The zoo is the best. What a school.
Are you gonna be getting paid under the table for this type of?
should be.
You're gonna have your own NIL deal.
I should. I absolutely
He's got
should.
his own series, though. What a grown up. He's just grown up right in front of our
Can I
eyes.
explain? So when you say that, I feel like when we interviewed Sean Thornton, right? He played 600 AHL games. That's kind of how I feel with this series is I did so much time in the AHL behind the scenes and I worked and worked and worked. And finally, I feel like I got to play my NHL game. And to be honest, I feel like I scored my opening game. Like I feel like it went really well. Fish absolutely crushed the edit. So many schools have reached out now and I think we have something here.
Well, college hockey's on the rise. You did unreal job, even in front of the camera. You're a content machine now. But that really wasn't your first one. You started out with ASU, and is that what sparked the idea? Like right now, that ASU walkthrough has, I think, close to 300,000-400,000 views on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so it's cool. So I've always wanted to. I play club hockey, so I've always been infatuated with Arizona State just because they were a club hockey team. Now they're a Division I team. So my goal was to always film a mini documentary about the ASU hockey team. So when we were out there for the Super Bowl last year, we set it up with Powers that we could go to the arena. But it just so happens that Powers couldn't be there that day. There were 3 or 4 people that if we were going to film a documentary, we needed them to be there. But we're there. We had nothing to do that day. So we're like, these facilities are unreal. Like, let's just film a facility tour. So once we got done, we kind of all looked at each other and we're like, that was unreal. Like, I think we have something here. And then when we posted it, all the comments were like, more college hockey content, more college hockey content. Let's see more facilities. So we kind of ran with it. And then I have to give Terrence Walsh, our sales guy, a shout out because I saw him at the Barstool Awards. And I kind of was just like, hey, like I have this Chiclets University thing. Like I had this idea, like I think we could do it. Like no one's doing this in the college hockey space right now. And within like 3 or 4 days, he had it sold. And as you guys know at Barstool,
Jersey Mike's, right?
If we want to do something, you have to have it sold basically.
Correct, yeah.
And Jersey
Flights,
Mike's came
logistics,
on.
hotel rooms.
I eat a cheesesteak from Jersey Mike's 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, hey, shout out to
So,
Jersey Mike.
we love
Mike just
Jersey
said it
Mike's.
too. So they sponsored the whole series.
Yep, them Blade Tech Hockey came on as well, which they do custom blades for. So it's awesome.
So you got to go around with Cale Makar's brother, who's Taylor Makar.
Taylor McCarr, Colorado Avalanche.
How's
draft
he?
pick. He's different game. He's a forward. He's
power forward.
Big power forward.
Skates well, hammers guys. He could have a shot. I think he was a 7th rounder.
Yep.
To
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my bad. But I watched him play against BU this year. Big kid, takes runs at people. Like he'll get a chance. I mean, if he gets even quicker, he's huge. College hockey, BU worked Maine twice.
You've
this
probably
week.
played in a lot of these places, so it got me kind of asking online, where's the best atmosphere in college hockey? A lot of people saying Nodak in their building.
Oh,
right?
no question.
What's
Ralph.
it called?
It's called the Ralph. I heard they do this thing in between the second and third period. They play a Sky Full of Stars remix by Avicii, and they have the strobe lights going, and it's just everyone gets fucking
kid's on
wild in
Molly
there.
in the
But on
student
Disco
section,
Biscuits?
just
But on the
ripping lines.
player side as well, like what else is in North Dakota? I mean, that is their pro team, that is their everything.
Somebody sent me a picture of Yale's rink. It looks like the Noah's Ark. Have you seen this fucking
Yeah,
thing?
I played in there.
What's it like playing in there?
Pretty dead. Although they ended up winning. Are you thinking
They won a national
they won
championship.
a national championship? Like when I was in school, they were garbage, with not many fans either.
Cool barn though.
Yeah, it's old. I don't know. It's
old.
It's not.
Maybe it was a good picture
It was
then.
probably a good picture.
I think the
Universe-
Yost at Michigan, the Yost Arena is
University of
unbelievable.
Michigan looked like the fans are right on top of you. The seats are pretty straight up, kind of like the old Windsor Spitfires barn. And then somebody sent me University of Minnesota, which looked rocking too. Very, very bland in a sense where it's all the grandstands and maybe there's
It's like a
boxes
pro arena, it looks
at
like.
the full top. But I want you to go to all these barns and do the run through, man. This is a great series. And
Fish
once
killed the
again,
edit,
you can
too.
find that on our,
Spittin Chiclets YouTube.
guess how many?
306,000. I looked the other day.
No, think again.
Seven?
307 now.
307, baby.
Climbing.
Gee, you just mentioned Matthews Arena, Northeast, and our guest this week, we're going to get to in a little bit. Devon Levi, Buffalo Sabres rookie goaltender, good stuff. Very interesting kid. We're going to get to him in a little bit, like I said.
Back to hockey, but a couple clicks.
Thanks, man.
Fish, you as well for the edit, and then fucking Sean was here. We got to give him a couple clicks.
Absolutely.
Obviously, because of the YouTube channel and how many people are now going there to watch and listen to the Spittin Chiclets podcast. It looks awesome on the.
You were right about Iverson, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get the Iverson right quickly back to it.
So I have the quote here. He says, take the vehicle. I have 10 more, he reportedly told Durham. Please don't have anything else to do except fuck with me. Do you know who I am? Is the quote he gave out.
Do you want to apologize now or later?
He had 10 other cars already. You said he would forget where his car was parked and he'd go buy a new one. I didn't just hear that.
Not just one.
And the cab took him to a dealership to get a new one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it happened once. You win.
Thank you.
This Friday, we got Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up. A whole bunch of chiclets there, Pink Whitney gear. What's it? Is it 20% off all through the weekend, right?
Yeah, so it's 20% off all through the weekend. So we mentioned the RA deal that we have. If you spend $500 in merch, Bruins game, Bruins tickets, they're my family season seats, so they're unreal seats. Also dinner with RA. We also have, if you spend $250 or more in the Barstool Sports store on Black Friday through Cyber Monday, you'll get front row seats to the Chiclets live show in Toronto.
We're announcing that right now.
Oh.
Holy shit. Breaking news. Spittin Chiclets, folks. We said that we're going to be doing something the Thursday of the All-Star break. We didn't have the facility quite 100% locked down, but G just announced it. We are doing a live show in Toronto for NHL All-Star weekend to kick things off, baby. G?
Yeah, I mean, we can't give out the venue details just yet, but just be ready, Toronto, because we're coming. And it's likely going to be that Thursday, February 1st, but just keep an eye out because we're coming, Toronto.
Damn, all right.
Bringing hell with us. We got to do a little Edmonton cleanup. 2-1 since they brought in Knobloch. 12 goals for, 10 against. What's going on? A lot of people calling you a poser now.
Well, they're 3-0-1, right? Or did they lose in
He
regulation?
just said 2-1. They
2-1
lost
on the-
6-4.
No, but they did win that last game with Woodcroft. So since you've left the team, they're 3-1.
Yeah. They're. I mean, I quit on them. I've said this clearly. Like, they're not winning the Stanley Cup. Like, I still root for them. They're not a team that's built to go on a run and be a very successful team. I mean, let's go to you comparing them to the 2019 St. Louis Blues. Are you on RA's
I
crack
said
right now?
no. I said I'm getting those types of vibes right now.
Is that not comparing them?
No, I do see what you're saying, but he's just talking like the vibes of they were in the gutter and now they're going to rise.
Everybody
to the top.
was ready to.
They were up 3-2 last game, out shooting Tampa 28-14 and lost 6-4 in the third period. Once again, I don't hate the Oilers. I actually may end up really hating them in the next month or so if these people keep coming at me, which I don't blame them. You know what? I'll take that back. I don't blame them. I left your team. I understand why you hate me. This team, they're not winning shit. They have Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Leon have one power play goal combined in the last 12 games.
Plenty of room for improvement.
Okay, well, at what point is the improvement going to come? When is it going to come? When is it going to come?
Well,
they're still in second to last place in their division. You guys are acting like this is this enormous turnaround. Like, I'm just telling you.
I think in January.
They don't have a goalie. They don't have good defensemen. And they have two awesome forwards that aren't playing awesome right now. Okay, there is a lot of room for improvement. Let's see it. And by the way, I really probably wouldn't have quit them if the games didn't start so late. But I still quit. I can handle being called a poser and a phony fan. Yeah. I'm not from Edmonton. I played for them. I wish it worked out between us, but it didn't. And that's really where I stand. I also stand this team is not that good. I don't know what you guys want me to say. Do you think the Oilers are going to go on a run and compete for the Stanley Cup this year? Yes or no?
I think given you jumped
Yes or
off,
no?
I think
yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to be where are they going to finish at the end of the year?
Well, they're going to make playoffs.
Okay, that wouldn't shock me at all.
And then if they have those two guys and they're playing lights out and they get some...
Well, it's funny. Last year you said they could never win with just those two guys. They could never win the Stanley Cup with just two guys. But now you're saying they have those two guys and they get in the playoffs, they could win?
They have other guys, man. They have Hyman. They have Kane. They have Nuge.
Name a defenseman.
Well, they got Broberg if they call him up and he starts fucking snapping around. They have, who's the starts with the D, the big fucker?
Darnell Nurse?
No, I know Darnell fucking Nurse. Come on here.
Desharnais? That's your guy? They're going to win the cup because of Desharnais?
Buddy, listen, if you fucking go back to the original question and saying like, oh, you're comparing the two, I think that St. Louis Blues might have been in last place in the entire league in January of 2019.
And my point is they had a team.
No, they didn't. They didn't even have a fucking goalie. Jordan Binnington showed up halfway through the year and he fucking started shooting rockets out of his ass.
They had a team defense that was outstanding. They had
You probably didn't even know who the fuck Parayko was before that fucking season. I know you're giving me that look on my face because you signed 2 PTOs there and then got snipped. Keep
I
the
knew
change.
who Parayko was.
But I'm saying if all of a sudden Picard can come in and play well, or maybe or Skinner can finally take the reins, or who knows, maybe after his conditioning stint, Jack Campbell comes back and he starts playing lights out. Do I think that Darnell Nurse can improve and be the defenseman he was when he ended up getting that huge deal on his contract year? If he gets back to 75% of that level, they have a competent D-man and nobody's talking about his fucking cap hit. And then Bouchard, plenty of room for improvement. He's only making 4. You have Evander Kane making 4. You have an unbelievable top 6 group. They need this fucking bottom 6 to figure it out and get some jam and
Holloway got hurt, which kind of
start putting the puck in the back of the net. But do I believe that if a chip in a chair, the Edmonton Oilers somehow get in the playoffs, they couldn't go on this miraculous run? Yeah, I think that. And in fact, maybe I'll jump on their fucking wagon now that you've left them.
That makes sense. Grab another team.
Yeah,
I understand that. You could get every team in Canada at some point.
I'm a team whore, and I know that. I'm getting fucking bukkakied by every Canadian team. But hey, at least I don't have commitment issues like you.
Hey, listen, the Oilers right now have a huge next 2 weeks coming up. They play the Panthers tonight. Actually, Keith Yandel mentioned he's going to the game. The Cats are kind of like figuring things out.
They're awesome.
And they got Ekblad and Montour back now. So the Cats are getting going. That's not an easy game. And then they have a couple other.
And they got Hurricanes, Capitals, Ducks, Golden Knights, Jets, Hurricanes.
How about the Caps, by the way? Talk about me getting the team going.
Yeah.
What do you mean you?
Shit. Yeah,
that's my team.
I reverse mushed them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's your team. Sorry, I forgot.
So
that's
one of your
Metro teams.
Quickly talk about the Panthers because we're on the subject. Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
What a bounce back.
Oh my God. And Paul Maurice knows how to bring these guys in and make it work right away. The guy's like,
you predicted that one too before the season.
He's the most, well, I also said that about when he went to Vancouver. So, you swing and you miss sometimes, but Canadian market, that team wasn't winning, nightmare situation for him. He goes down south. I think he's making just over $2 million. They needed a defenseman to step in and put a Band-Aid in the fact that they lost Montour and Ekblad, their top 2 D-men. And what's he got right now?
Got 5 goals.
11 points. He only had 2 goals all of last season, Oliver.
That's all he had last year.
And another thing too is, and I know it's a Hockey Fights Cancer Month. Like he lost his mother a few years back too. Yep. She used to get up and watch every single one of his NHL games. So you don't know what type of impact that can have on a guy off the ice. So the
11
fact
points, Biz, 11 points,
11 points
games
right now so far for this guy who I played with. I loved him. He was an incredible teammate. He spent so much time this summer working on his skating and getting back that, that strong, like I felt he became a little bit easier to knock off the puck as the years were going on, and he got back to working on his skating, and he looks solid as ever. He's playing physical and then also now contributing offensively. So I hope that continues with those two guys coming back. But shout out to
offense may take a little step back just because he won't get the minutes, but the fact that you have a guy playing solid hockey and that was able to carry the load as those guys were out. But for the Panthers, for me, and for everyone who's watching their games and their fans, like Sam Reinhart, man.
oh my God.
Dude, and what's funny is we have Devon Levi coming on, and that was the trade.
I think it's his contract year too, Reinhardt.
Is it?
I think so.
It is.
He's gonna get fucking
So
paid.
Nylander's getting the credit for doing this with a contract year, and I mean Reinhardt is lighting it up. I think
Pedersen,
top 10 in league
all these
scoring.
guys.
Yeah, but at least Pedersen's RFA. But yeah, you're right.
okay.
Still, but so it's like this team. Obviously, I had him missing playoffs. That probably looks a little foolish as of right now.
Same.
I could call myself out, but Reinhart doing this with the injuries they've battled is so impressive. And the team, and this isn't even with Matthew Tkachuk playing like he did last year. So you know that'll probably turn around at one point. The same as I've said that Leon and McDavid will turn it around at some point. Matthew Tkachuk will get going one of those ridiculous runs. So Florida's buzzing, and that's going to be a tough game for Edmonton.
So just the cleanup though, because I mean we've been getting off the rails on
Yeah, but
a
we're
lot of
together,
things.
and
I know
whatever.
it's
We're just
awesome. I
shooting the
love
shit.
it.
We have nowhere to go. We're in the worst city in America. Atlanta's a shithole, by the way. This place sucks. It does.
Good restaurants.
What?
Good strip clubs.
No, good restaurants.
Name one.
I don't fucking remember the name.
Oh,
I
okay.
just- I don't know. Like fucking been here twice. Every time I go to eat, it's been good restaurants. Where's the place we went to last year, Biz?
Was it South City Kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There we
great.
go.
It's around the
There's
corner.
There we
from
go.
here. Edmonton Oilers. So we recorded last podcast on Sunday morning, and we were trying to put all the pieces together, and a lot more information came out as to how this whole thing went down. Now that it's still up for debate on whether we're going to believe what we heard, not only in the press conference but also in the locker room.
Is this my inmates are running the asylum?
Well, yeah, but I don't disagree with you for saying that in general, and especially at the time.
The way
in
it
which-
looked.
The way
Or
it looked. But hearing McDavid in that scrum and saying he had no fucking clue that was going to happen, I believed him.
Yeah, and in talking to people, I believe him as well. I'll say I understand why fans may not. But from what I've been told, I do believe it as well. It's crazy to me that it's almost crazier to me that he didn't know.
It makes it more dysfunctional than I originally thought it was, of the fact that you're not asking the best hockey player on the planet what he thinks of this coach you may be potentially hiring. Now, but do I also think at some point in time, maybe not around the time in which Woodcroft was fired, that they asked McDavid what he thought of his old coach or somebody, and Wynn got back to people running the ship as the fact that maybe
his old agent?
but not in the time realm in which it ended up happening. Am I being fed bullshit in which I'm accepting, believing that?
Well, no, I think the way McDavid said it, and kind of like the look of, his comment that got me was Woodcroft never lost the room. Like he was and I think it's all fair to say Woodcroft got the shaft in this.
Yes.
He had guys underperforming. He had the nightmare start nobody saw coming.
Scapegoat.
And he was the scapegoat. And I think he just definitely deserves another chance to coach in the NHL based on what he did since he came up. But they had to do something. They decided to go to get rid of him. So he got hosed. But McDavid truly looked like pretty rattled in a sense of like, I didn't know this was happening. This isn't something I wanted or asked for. So you gotta take him for his word, right? That all of a sudden like this huge change happens, and he's probably thinking like, everyone's gonna think I fucking had something to do with this. It's my old agent as the new president, and my old junior coach as the new coach. Like I almost look ridiculous here.
I think the part that made it look even worse was when Kenny Holland made it seem as if though he consulted or spoke to McDavid about it. And he said that during the press conference. And then it got thrown over to Jackson. And then he's like, yeah, we never consulted the players. So that's where most people listening saying that I believe that McDavid had no knowledge this was going to happen, think that I'm eating the bullshit. Whereas I don't know. I'm pretty good at reading body language where McDavid seemed like rattled and taken off guard and like he'd gotten the morning text, hey, you have a new coach here, in which the fact that he wasn't prepared or given the heads up and it ended up being his old coach, everybody was going to think that he had a hand in it.
Oh, by the way, I do want an apology to Oilers fans.
About the Nuge comment?
No. I stand by that one. That one, the clip you guys chose, like I made it very clear that Nuge would be an unreal player on a Stanley Cup contender. I love Nuge's game. The money he makes is an amazing deal. He's great defensively. I was talking about possible players that could actually get you a return. All right. So I love Nuge as a player. I wanted to apologize more so with what McDavid's done since he got into the league. If he were to go on and leave in 2 years, I do not think he would get booed when he went back.
Okay, yeah. When
I went back and I thought about it, and it's like he's been that dominant and that generational of a player that if he moves on, I think he would get a warm welcome. I mean, they watched some of the greatest hockey we've ever seen.
Play the I will remember you. All right, give it to me. If you will remember me. No?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Well, everybody's getting one of those videos now. You play 1 year somewhere and you're getting one. McDavid's getting one, no?
When has that song ever been played on one of those videos?
I don't know. I know
around the time that Iverson had his 6th car stolen from the airport. So suck on that. Okay, so respect to you for admitting you're wrong a couple times today and apologizing to Oil Nation that McDavid won't get booed. The one other thing I wanted to talk about too was Paul Coffey getting behind the bench. Now, I don't know how long he's going to end up staying there. And that was another example. We talked about Alfie going behind the bench. We talked about Talk bringing all those guys in. I think that Talk being back in the mix gave Paul Coffey the itch to get behind the bench, but also he needs to see what's happening in that locker room to maybe bring up top to say if there is any cultural issues to get rid of them.
And by bring up top, you mean directly to the owner.
Correct.
So it's like,
and on top of that, maybe instill, like, I know they came in this year with this hybrid defensive system. Now, from what I'm hearing, not from any reliable source.
We didn't talk about this last week.
We mentioned it briefly, but going back to my thought, now I didn't hear this from anyone other than people on Twitter bantering about it, and I agree with it.
That's how G got an NFT.
Why not get a Hall of Fame offensive defenseman back there who played with generational talent up front on offense when he played to figure out how to keep those forwards happy and how to get these defensemen moving the puck to them on how they want it moved. I think that there's a bit of a disconnect, especially coming into training camp, where if your style is the style in which you have success, and going back to last year, just running and gunning, zipping it up and having fun and winning games with that offensive mindset, if that's who you have and that's who your players are, fucking do it. And I don't think that they were doing enough of that earlier in the season, where I think that Paul Coffey's behind the bench to kind of bridge that gap between what the forwards want and they're expecting as to what they were maybe getting in the first half of the season. And I don't know if that ended up being the reason why they let Woodcroft go, but the way that he came in this training camp and tried to instill this new system, it obviously wasn't working. They ended up trying to change it back to the old one, but without any type of success. So I'm interested to see what Paul Coffey can do behind the bench and how long he actually stays there for, and how much these defensemen are snapping up the puck and change their game based on his presence behind the bench. Fair?
Fair.
No?
I said fair.
Very fair.
No?
Fair.
All right, what do you think?
I think it's very fair.
All right.
I think, yeah. We're talking about guys getting a little shout out when they return to an old team. Ivan Provorov got one the other day. Columbus, man, they're fucking struggling right now. But last Thursday,
Patrick, season from hell.
Line A and
They should have got a Stanley Cup winning coach brought in.
I was going to say, like, would the record be the same if Mr. Telephone Man was there instead? I mean,
I'll tell you right now, this Pascal Vincent is possibly a little in over his head, and I understand benching people. So we've now seen Gaudreau benched. I think it was for the final 15 minutes of the third period, one game. The next game, or the most recent game, he was benched the last I can't roll my tongue.
Oh,
I know. So I probably wouldn't be good at what Murls is.
I'm not worried about
hours. But Now we see Gaudreau benched last game in the third period again.
Rode the pine.
We got Patrick Laine, healthy scratch. That's the one where it's like, this guy's making 8.7.
Rode the pine.
What did you just say?
Rode the pine.
He gets stoned before.
I don't know. Are you high?
No, I'm just having.
He's trying to sell his product is what he's doing.
It's 100% him and
and we're
Jeff
not
are
going to have to
texting.
share this with him either because it was his idea.
It's out in 6 months.
Rode the rear.
So I just think at some point, like, you bench guys once in a while, it works, right? Like, but you can't just do it over and over and over and expect a different result. Like, there hasn't been a result since he's benched these guys. Like, the same thing continues. And with Laine, like, obviously he came back from the concussion. He's got to get his feet underneath him. He's got to play. And granted, he's not playing the way you want him. Like, you have a way better chance of him playing and maybe not playing great, but figuring it out slowly but surely than just healthy scratching him. This team, I think they're off to one of their worst starts ever. They've had some bad starts. I think they're 4-10
And it's not, like they're not spending the money anymore
no,
either.
this year they were supposed to be better. They were supposed to like make a big step forward. And it kind of goes back. What, G? What's that?
4-11-4.
4-11-4. I mean,
Would you say they're
lost 9 in a row.
Would you say they're phone ease?
phone ease. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Thanks.
We'll give you that one. I still don't get it though.
Because like Mike Babcock went through their phones.
I made a funny.
Oh man, that was a good one. I wish I got that right away.
Do you think that
Kekalainen is in trouble?
He should have put the Kyler Murray clause in Laine's contract where he can't play video games.
I don't think
you think that he didn't pick up the remote control to play video games when he was concussed? That can't be good sitting there playing Fortnite all night when you're doing the baseline every morning.
Do you know though what I'm saying about benching guys and not making, like, you can't do it every game.
Fuck that, dude. Fucking bench them all.
Oh,
bench them all. Bench the whole team. Call up the American.
You're losing everyone. It's like you bench guys. You bench your top 2 players. One making 10, one making 8 and 8.7. Like, do it once in a while. Like, this is happening way too often. I understand he's not happy with how they're playing, but you got to get him going, dude. These are your 2 guys, man. You can't just keep sitting them down, healthy scratch and lining. Like, I'm not just taking the player's side here. At some point, benching a guy over and over and over, like, they're turning it off
again.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And like the quotes he's given, like, I'm sick and fucking tired. Like, buddy, like, this thing just started, man. Like, you're just starting as a head coach. The team's horrible. Maybe don't healthy scratch your best goal scorer. Is he your best goal scorer right now? No. You got to get him going somehow. You're healthy scratching the guy. Like, I don't see what you're getting out of that.
I think you got to put
him on the 4th line, if anything.
I think you set the precedent, and
what's that doing?
It's setting the precedent.
It's not working. He's already done it.
Well, he just did it, and
he benched Gaudreau for the whole third period like 2 weeks ago.
I understand, but this is the first time he didn't see the result he wanted, and then now he healthy scratched Laine. So there was even more discipline. It's like, oh, okay, the benching didn't work. Now fucking go eat press box popcorn. Just like I did.
There is
but this is, listen, Laine is a natural goal scorer. But when that's not happening, I think that most people who have watched his game, not only in Winnipeg, but also Columbus, can agree that he doesn't play overly physical. He's not the best defensive player. I don't think he's necessarily setting up his teammates a ton. I don't think he's winning a ton of puck battles. It doesn't look like he's emotionally invested. I know that he's always been kind of that calm demeanored player, but if you're not getting it done with the scoring, you have to have other intangibles to your game, especially if you're making 8.7 or 8.4 million fucking dollars. And if you're not showing that type of, we all know, listen, if you're not scoring goals, if I see a guy busting his ass and winning battles and competing, there's no need to bench him. There's no need to healthy scratch him. And also with a young up and coming culture there with all these young players, the veterans have to show these guys the way. There's a reason that Boone Jenner is not being scratched. It's because regardless of production, Boone Jenner does other things. He'll block shots. He'll kill penalties. I think he actually even plays power play. And I think he's been a 30-goal scorer. He's a 30-goal scorer, right? You can look that up for me. But regardless is, if Patrick Laine wants to be paid like a star player, in which he's
My thing is, he is paid that way. So I understand what you're saying. But, buddy, he's just coming back from a concussion. If he'd been healthy all year, I get the healthy scratch. Buddy, like, the guy just came back from a concussion. You can't score. Your team sucks. Healthy scratching him does not do what you need to have done right now. And I get what you're saying about Fantilli and other younger players, like almost being like, wow, if you bench him and scratch him, he'll scratch anyone.
Sets a precedent.
I understand that, but like, you have to win games at this point.
But you don't.
You're not going to win without these guys.
But well, first of all, you're not going to win with them, as you can see, and they're shit, and they're probably going to be looking at another lottery draft pick.
They're last in the East right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So for me, it all comes down to the fact that I think he's always been known as a little bit of a dog in the.
I agree with you.
In the hard working
I can't believe
realm.
he makes 8-7 actually.
And I don't think I'm going to have any type of sympathy in saying that you shouldn't be benching this guy when the team's already horrendous and you're trying to change the culture there. So Columbus fans, you guys have been watching this a lot more closely.
I wonder what they think.
Just like the Winnipeg situation with the tickets and why people weren't showing up early on. I would love your guys' feedback on what you think about the Laine and Gaudreau situation. And if you guys think that Pascal Vincent was right in doing what he did. I would almost love a Twitter poll right now to figure it out till the end of the podcast. So that's my piece on that. But at the end of the day, these guys are riding the pine.
They're riding the pine, buddy. They're riding the pine and getting paid lots of money to do it.
And what you mentioned, Yamo, man, you got to wonder like how much time this guy has left. Like one playoff series win in 10 years. Like, you know, the roster right now is constructed, isn't getting it done. And also too, like how much harder is it for a rookie coach? I mean, not credibility is not the word, but like guys in the room probably don't maybe trust them as much as a guy who's been around. I should maybe not trust.
I would disagree with that because your head coach is your head coach, man. Like, maybe Gaudreau and Laine as veterans are more like, well, fuck this guy, but that roster's full of guys who are respecting no matter who's behind the bench and playing the way he's telling them to play. Those two guys are not. I just think like after a couple benching, it's like, oh, we got to try something else. This isn't working. And if you continue to bench and healthy scratch, it's like, and there's no results there. All right, what do we do from here? That's like a last resort option to me, which I guess they're coming to the point where they have to do anything possible to try to get this team going, but it's ugly there.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like anybody's got that much cap space, but I feel like Columbus would be the type of team for future assets to retain quite a bit of Laine's salary. Is there a place where they're lacking, top end goal scoring on the wings anywhere where they could fit him in? I don't know. And another thing too, I just talked about the Oliver Ekman-Larsson situation. Like I don't want to lack empathy towards Patrick Laine and not only the concussion issue. I want to say, like around 2 years ago, he lost his father as well. So you never know how much this has an impact on the play because he's a few years removed from a point a game season. I think it was a shortened season when it was 56 games and I think he had 56 points. So yes, he can be that guy, but right now he's not. So let's see how this thing shakes out. And who knows, maybe a team desperate to add some goals in the mix would make a move for him near the deadline, and a team that is obviously going nowhere soon.
A guy who's going to be going somewhere soon, Patrick Kane. Emily Kaplan at ESPN said he's going to be going somewhere soon. He might have as many as 8 suitors. Reportedly met with Toronto, but Brooksy said it won't be the Rangers. Florida, Buffalo, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Dallas also said to be in the mix. With the Rangers last year, he had 12 points in 19 regular season games, then 6 points in 7 playoff games. What's he have left in the tank, especially after the surgery? Is it going to look better, worse, what?
That's the question that remains to be answered. And for me, I understand the excitement on the Kane and where's he going, and obviously the Hall of Fame, everything he's done, true legend of the game. But it's almost like wait and see here a little bit because that's a big time surgery. And obviously some videos were released where he looks good on the ice. He's out there alone. So you got to take that for what it's worth. But I'm not ready. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, whoever signs him, boom, you got the old Patrick Kane back. Like, you got to see this guy play and the pace of the game and coming back from a major injury. Like, we'll see what happens. Now, what's impressive is, unless you talk to Pasha, there were times he looked really good for the Rangers last year and he was playing hurt. So if he feels that much better now, you're gonna probably expect to see a dynamic Patrick Kane, a playmaker, a goal scorer. But I got to see him play first. That's why, like, Dallas to me is so good. I think that I actually think right now they're going to win the Stanley Cup based on like Ottinger and that team and veterans and just like they have the makings of a Stanley Cup team. If he goes there and then doesn't have to be like the number one guy, I guess the main thing is that he wants to go to a contender, which makes sense. And he wants to go somewhere where he probably isn't expected to just carry the load everywhere.
Did you mention
Dallas? He doesn't need to.
Did you mention it last pod that I don't think he's waiting to, but it's just going to happen. So it's just so happened that when he hits 35, a certain age, that he can be paid a minimal salary, but then make a lot of money in bonuses, which don't.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't.
So if I'm not mistaken, a big component to this is he can go to a contender and not add a lot of salary to their books. And or it would be added on next year based
like
on
the Connor Brown situation, kind of.
Well, Connor Brown is
he's not 35 though.
He's not 35. He's basically on a 1-year tryout making $1 million. But Patrick Kane could go somewhere, make $1 million in salary, and then end up making up to $4 in or however much they work out as far as the bonus structure for games played, points, how far they go as far as the Stanley Cup playoffs are concerned. So that's a huge component to this too. His age and the fact that now at a certain age you can get away with this bonus structure where it doesn't affect the cap as much.
Also, if I'm a team,
I know he's going to Toronto first off, along with Zadorov and Tanev. You can get
Hannafin.
Not Hannafin.
Oh, okay.
Hannafin's not coming. They can't afford him. Klingberg's coming off the books. They're getting Zadorov, Tanev. They're going to fucking bolster up that back end, and then they're going to add Patty Kane, the current best American-born player of all time, and he's going to hand the torch off to Austin Matthews after they win the cup. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to be so happy, but we don't need to dive into it too much right now.
If I'm a team though, like, I don't know, does he want a 3-year deal? Like, I'm kind of just doing the 1-year deal.
1 year.
Because you don't know, right? Like, he could be saying to teams, hey, I want 3 years. And then that might take some teams out of it. I think Dallas, to me, if he wants to like really compete for a Stanley Cup, and obviously Florida too, with what they're doing and how good they've looked without some big guys playing, that's a possibility. I've said long ago when he was still a Blackhawk, I'd love to see him in Buffalo. If he wants to compete for the Stanley Cup, I don't think that's going to happen. Especially, they haven't even said how long Tage Thompson's out, but it's going to be a while. So I don't know about the Sabres. That would be a really cool story. But to me, I'm just seeing him in Dallas. That's kind of what I'm picturing.
Are you hearing anything
Not
from
hearing
behind
anything.
the scenes?
Nope, I got nothing.
Him and Sagan played together in Switzerland too during the lockout.
Yes, there we go. Inside source.
What do you think? Where do you think he's going, RA?
Why isn't Boston involved in this? No money?
No, they don't need. They need a centerman.
Yeah, I don't know.
True.
It doesn't surprise me they're not. Toronto seems like the obvious one, but I think Dallas would be a good fit for him. And I don't think he's looking to make any crazy money. He's already made all his money.
That's what I'm saying. He's taking a hometown discount in Toronto.
I mean, but you're saying, like, obviously Boston, that was stupid of me. They need centers, but Toronto, that's not what Toronto needs. They don't need that. Come on, be an honest fan for once.
No,
one of your 7 teams. They don't need that.
No, I am, because I think that, like, I like Bertuzzi on the top lines, and now he's playing a lot better.
And a Stanley Cup, maybe.
And I think that he adds a different element than what those other top guys bring. Where, you know, if you got Matthews and Marner cooking, you need a guy who's posted up at the top of the paint, distracting the goalie. Right? You can't have 3 perimeter type players.
Kane's the guy standing in the paint,
but. No, but I'm saying, though, is if you added him to the mix, like, what if Bertuzzi's all of a sudden now on your second and or third line, where the depth gets bumped down, where he can eat up guys on the third line. So I just think that I would assume that he'd probably want to play with Matthews. Like that's a guy you look at when you're an American. You say, hey, I can go over there and play with one of the best 200-foot centers in the game and top players of his time, and sign a 1-year deal where once like Bertuzzi's on a 1-year too. So you get to see where things are at, and then what they end up doing with the Nylander situation with whether they can pay him or not or keep him around, and then you can kind of reshuffle the deck in the offseason. I don't think Kane's taken anything more than the rest of this year and seeing if you can come back and play up to that standard. And I think the landing spot's Toronto. And if you want to go into the fucking Zadorov Tanev thing, I know that Brad Treliving is going to make that work. There's been the injury conversation with Klingberg and how Keith made a comment saying that we're not protecting him enough. Listen, if you're a fucking defenseman in the National Hockey League and you're being paid $4 million and you've been in the league for 10 years, I don't want to hear the words, we need to protect him better out there.
Yeah,
that's fucking.
What is the injury? It just
so I heard he doesn't have great hips, but at the end of the day, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup, I don't see a place for Klingberg on the roster in your top 6. I think that most Leafs fans can agree. Like I have all the respect for his offensive ability, but watching him play on the defensive side of the puck is awful, especially in the house in that net front. He's not bending his knees and he is getting worked around, and it's not like he can even close guys off on the walls either, so the centerman can come by and swoop by and grab the puck. You need to get his $4 million off the books. I think that between Tanev and Zadorov, they make around collectively that exact same amount, and I think that it's a no-brainer. If you're Treliving, you send over, at this point, fucking put all the chips on the table, maybe even send over a first rounder with it, and I think that you can get it done. I'm done talking about Toronto, though. My apologies, all right?
Sure you are.
Well, for this podcast, until after the interview.
Till we go to dinner.
You just mentioned all those Flames. Tanev, Hanifin, Lindholm. Buddy, what's this? Hold on. Tanev, Hanifin, Lindholm. And who's the other? Oh, fucking Zadorov. Four of them going to get traded. Pierre LeBrun said the Flames are ready for a roster reset. Hanifin almost signed an extension last month, close to $60 million.
That is insane to me. Not like I would be so nervous not signing if $60 million was offered to me. That's what is being said right now. And another thing that's being said, and going back to the Zadorov, is when he requested a trade, apparently it did not bode well with the guys in the locker room, to the point where there was rumblings that they didn't necessarily want him in the lineup anymore. So talk about trade leverage for a team who wants to add Zadorov as like a 5-6 at the deadline. I would imagine that Calgary probably wants to move off of this situation as soon as possible, if what I'm hearing is true, and they don't want him in the lineup. Because if the teammates are kind of revolting and don't want him around, that creates a real negative space in the locker room, as if though it hasn't been negative to begin with to start the season. So right now, things in Calgary are imploding. And gee, it might have even been you who said it. They are going to be selling by Thanksgiving. And here we are.
Sell earlier than later, though.
G might have the best hot takes coming from preseason picks than any of us.
Yep.
So they got to unload everything and start the rebuild now, if you're asking me. And the fact that Hanifin is not signed there tells you everything you need to know.
One guy who's not going anywhere.
I have a little breaking news regarding, ironically, the World Cup of Hockey. Greg Wyshynski just tweeted out the current plan for the 2025 World Cup of Hockey, which will not be called the World Cup of Hockey, will feature 4 national teams: the U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland. There'll be 0 Russians. There's a chance that U.S. and Canada will play 3 times. Next proper World Cup might not be until 2028.
So if they're that adamant about not letting Russia play, I guess that's the best you're going to do. It really screws over Leon, Stützle, Kevin Fiala.
They should do a doping division against
Kopitar.
Like that's crazy.
They should do a doping division and then do a sober division, and then the winners meet. No?
Yeah.
What kind of dope?
So you said not till 2028. What are they busy working on this NFT still?
No,
like,
then they're thinking Russia could be back in. It's like, put Russia in.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Because what they could do is, if they put Russia in, then you could have the 6th team be everyone but Sweden, Finland, Russia.
Exactly.
Kind of what they did at the last one with the Euro
Team North
team
America
that Ralph
and Team
Kruger
Europe.
coached, that went on like a little run in that tournament.
Yeah, that was sick.
Well, one flame who's not going anywhere. This rookie Connor Zary, he's at 6 points in his first 7 games. Have you seen him at all? He kind of fucking pops right off the screen when you watch.
I have not seen Calgary play at all.
Yeah, high draft pick. But I mean, let's talk about the Calder race for a second. Bedard, he's pulled ahead in goals and points. He's got 9 goals, 6 assists, 15 points in 16 games. Your boy Logan Cool, he's got 12 points. What other guys have jumped out at you for rookies?
Going back,
D-man, Mignikov.
Mignikov, yeah.
He's a stud in Anaheim, playing big minutes. Luke Hughes looks great. He looks great. I mean, I know. Did he battle an injury? No, his brother got injured. What am I talking about?
He got crunched in the boards that game. I forget by who, but he missed the rest of the game. He came back.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was a little hurt.
There was another rookie on my mind. I mean, Portros slowed down.
Yeah.
But Montgomery's still very complimentary and saying like he plays defense. Actually, he's just a solid defensive player as well. It's why he stayed up with the team. Another rookie,
Leo.
Yeah. Leo, what a rookie class. I know we've said this a bunch, but I think Bedard's going to end up kind of running away with this thing a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just so good. He's so dominant when he has the puck on his stick that I think in the end and with the minutes he's going to get, especially if they continue with maybe, I know it's changed a little with Leo sitting out games here and there because he's been so good. They're just playing him. But Bedard's starting every power play. He's playing 20 minutes every night or, 18 to 20 minutes every night. His shot, I think Bedard ends up winning this, but it's a race. It's going to be a nice little race just because of all the talent.
Yeah, it's been nice seeing him be able to play without all the lights and cameras around him for nonstop interviews. And going back to that first 7-8 game stretch, he was playing against like the defending Stanley Cup champions. He was playing on every like Hockey Night in Canada, TNT, ESPN opening night. So now that that's calmed down and now that the competition is evened off, he is him.
Ooh.
He is him.
This is you little young buck over there. Speaking of rookies, obviously Devon Levi's a rookie, but how about this Zach Benson on Buffalo? He took on like 5 of the fucking Jets the other night.
Where were the rest of the Sabres?
That's embarrassing.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's my biggest gripe about the Sabres is they don't have enough sandpaper. They brought Greenway in to start the season off. Tuck was fighting and getting involved in doing all that shit. He's a 50, 60 point guy guaranteed. Tuck shouldn't be worrying about that bullshit. The team is so young. They should go out and sign a guy like Delorier. And I know that those types of guys are far and few between, but you see how valuable these guys can be on good teams. Like look at Curtis McDermott with the Colorado Avalanche. He doesn't need to play every game. Fuck, some games he's playing forward, other games he's playing D. You need a Swiss Army knife heavyweight that can get in the lineup when situations like that happen, because when an 18-year-old is going to the net front looking for goals and maybe he pokes a little bit late as the whistle's going and five guys want to jump on him, you better have teammates coming in. And I don't give a fuck about the rule if the D-men come in, the faceoff comes outside the zone. It's 82 game season. Get guys in there fucking pumping guys.
Craziest thing is that the Sabres ended up shorthanded after that.
Yeah. So it's just
it's like, what the hell? That made no sense to me.
They need more sandpaper, but I guess I'm okay with them not leveraging anything to get something like that in just yet because the bright years are ahead of them, but they need to look to address that space. They got to find a Zadorov. They got to go get a type of guy like that.
I'm not sure if the anthem singer got a penalty from the Bruins Sabres game. Did you hear him? He started freestyling the fucking national anthem, basically the Canadian anthem.
Tough one.
Oh, it was brutal. Like the little kid,
one.
they showed that picture. The little kid looked up at his dad. They were like fucking chuckling at him. But one last note before we send it over to Levi. Congrats to Sabres captain Kyle Oposo. He played his 1,000th game. Huge congrats to him, especially after all the medical woes he had with one of the great guys in the game. We were fortunate to interview him up in Buffalo last year.
Yeah, and his
Just
interview, if you haven't heard it, to hear what he went through and then the treatment he was getting to try to really help him get healthy again, it was an awesome interview. Great guy, 1,000 games. I've said it before, like 1,000 games. I'm not trying to be, I played, but I think when you've played in the NHL, 1,000 games means maybe even a little more to you, like in respect wise. Like fans hear it, that's great, but like playing the game, and I think I had 450 right around. It's like, holy shit, it's so many games to be like that good of a player, to be on a team that long, in the league that long. Congrats to him and all the guys who
I played 200 and I feel like a crash test dummy. So I don't know how these guys play 1,000.
Yeah, that's why we give them the props here when they get to that number. But anyways, let's send it over to Devon Levi right now.
This interview is brought to you by Chevy. Chevy is working to make charging simple. When I talk to people that ask me about these ads, that is their one worry. What if there isn't enough places to charge my truck? What if I have to drive too far and the battery runs out and I am not able to charge it? Well, nope, not with Chevy. Over 110,000 charging stations across the US and Canada, and that number's growing. Next year, there'll be even more. Your smartphone becomes your co-pilot when using the My Chevrolet mobile app with Energy Assist. The app allows you to access vehicle information like battery status and charging settings from anywhere. The Energy Assist feature intelligently plans your routes, tells you where and how long to charge up, and gives you real-time data about charging station availability. You don't want to go somewhere where they're already all taken up, but with the My Chevy app, you'll know when there's an available charging station for you. There are 3 different home charging levels available. Chevy electric vehicles offer great options for charging, all of them as simple as just plugging in your smartphone. Learn more at chevy.com/electric. We're going to try to get G onto this Chevy train. He needs a new car. He needs a Chevy electric vehicle, and he needs to use the My Chevy app. So go on over to chevy.com/electric.
All right, we're excited to bring on our next guest. He was selected in the 7th round by the Panthers at the 2020 draft. They traded his rights a year later. Then he rewrote the record book for goalies at Northeastern University, becoming the first player to win 2 Mike Richter trophies, and he departed tied with the second best save percentage in NHL history. Today, he's a rookie for the Buffalo Sabres, and it's great to welcome to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Devon Levi. What's shaking, Jedi? How we doing?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
No, we're chugging along, man. How's the season going so far?
It's going great, man. You know, first NHL season, just, every day in the NHL is a good day. So I'm just enjoying myself.
Well
RA
said.
mentioned that you finished the NHL career with the second best save percentage. Let's hope that's how it is, but it was the NCAA. So
what a shocker.
Get ahead of myself.
Fucking up with the numbers again. Jesus.
It's not even numbers.
RA's been struggling with numbers lately.
I thought he had a magic ball. I thought he was looking in the future.
he has a ball, all right. I don't know if it's magic, but... So how's everything going, dude? I mean, obviously went in there last year, which was probably such a relief just to get to experience the guys in the NHL opposed to going in blind this training camp. But, how'd the summer go training-wise and the beginning of the year? How's your body feeling and all that?
Yeah, summer went really well. I think getting a little taste of, what it takes to play in the NHL last year definitely gave me some insight and motivation going into the summer. I knew exactly what I needed to do, what I needed to prepare to get ready for the season. And it happened to just be the same stuff that, I've been doing. What I've been doing up to that point kind of seemed to be working. So, I didn't really go rewrite the script, change much, just keep doing what I'm doing.
I always wonder for goalies, you have a goalie coach that maybe you work with in the summer that you've known for a long time. I don't know if that's the case. Then you got a goalie coach at Northeastern. Then you go to Buffalo. It's a new goalie coach. Are you kind of relaying to this guy like what you feel your strengths and weaknesses, or whichever coach you're dealing with? Are you just kind of listening to them and what they think?
Yeah. So I've had a few goalie coaches over the years. My goalie coach at home, his name's Marco Raimondo. He's awesome. I've been working with him for probably 5 years now. He coached against me when I was a little bit younger. So he's been watching me for a long time. And so he knows exactly how I tick, what he needs to say to me to kind of turn me on. And, he knows how I work on the ice also. So I worked with Mike Condon at Northeastern. He was awesome. It was great to be able to work with, a former NHL goalie and you get his perspective on the game. Jason LaBarbera is the guy that I worked with at World Juniors.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's awesome too. Yeah, Bars. He's
beefcake is what we used to call him in the locker room.
He's a wrestling fanatic, Biz, right?
Oh, loves it. Did you guys get talk wrestling?
No, we didn't actually.
Oh God, don't get him going. He used to watch all of them in the plane. Like it's like you already know what the fuck the result is. Why are you rewatching these matches? Him and Yans, they'd sit together, go crazy. But great guy, great communicator, communicator too.
Yeah, he helped my game a lot for sure. All these guys, Mike Bales right now, he's my goalie coach in Buffalo. All these guys kind of help me kind of figure out who I am as a goalie, and it's still a work in progress. Every day trying to get better. So.
Do they communicate? Is there a lot of handing off and back and forth?
Yeah, exactly. They all communicate. Everyone just kind of wants to be on the same page. The more information they know, the better. The more they know me, the better they could handle me. So, it's been great. Open communication always helps.
So you said nothing changes. Obviously, the hardest part being the way that these guys in the NHL can shoot the puck, though. Like, are you having NHL guys shooting you in the summer, or are the college guys shooting the pill just as hard as these NHLers?
Yeah, Marco tries to get some pros out there. We kind of work with what we have. So there's some days it'll be college guys, some days pro guys. But it's kind of just like, it's still the game of hockey. It's the same. Stop the puck. Doesn't matter who's shooting. So I think I've gone through that like a few times. Like, just the biggest probably like discrepancy between shots that I've gone through in my career was playing in the CCHL and then going to play World Juniors. I kind of just made the leap, and it was a pretty big jump, but just going in, it didn't feel that big. It was kind of just play the game I know how to play, and everything kind of just fell into place. So the shooters, like, it's great to have good shooters, but even shooters that don't shoot as hard, there's still a lot of work that you can get done.
Are you one of those goalies that pays attention to the systems, and you would know, like, you're sitting in the PK meetings and you can kind of read the play and understand all that? Some guys, I don't think some goalies maybe understand that.
Yeah, for sure. The PK meetings, goalie is a big part of the PK. So I sit in on those. And also it makes the game so much easier when you could read off your D, read off your players. It's hard when it's a 5-on-0. Like in practice, you get a 3-on-0. There's a million different plays that could be made, but if you could read off your D and you watch how the play develops, there's only a handful of things that could happen. So being able to read the play really stems from being able to read from where your guys are. So
anybody else hear those dings?
Yeah.
Is that me? Yeah, that might be.
Oh, is that you?
Oh, you're
yeah,
get your ring run.
That's a fine.
Who's texting you?
I have no idea.
His goalie coach at home, Marco.
Who touched
So hey, as a youngster, it seems like a lot of goalies. It's not like they're playing goalie from 6 or 7 years old. Maybe they play out a year and they get into it a little later. I don't know. What was it like for you in terms of picking that position and starting your hockey career as a goaltender?
Yeah, I don't even know why I became a goalie. Like, I just kind of liked it. Like, I must have been like crazy growing up wanting to take shots to the head, but I just felt the want to like be in the net and stop pucks. I started off as a player. I wasn't very good. I was okay. And I was just kind of hoping for our goalie, like, to just be sick when we'd go to the rink so I could take his gear and go in nets. That's kind of just how it started. I'd always go in nets like for road hockey and off the ice in the basement. My dad always used to shoot on me and my brother too. So I just ended up asking my dad for a pair of pads, and it kind of just started from there.
Yeah, you started off with street hockey, but you didn't play on the ice till what? You were 11 years old, I read? First time you played goalie on ice?
Probably around 10 years old. I think that's when I fully transitioned to being a goalie. But I was playing a little bit here and there when I was younger. But I think being able to play hockey just as a player, learn how to skate was pretty important too. So
when it came time to go juniors or Northeastern or college, I should say, was juniors even in the equation? Being a kid from Quebec, how hard was that decision for you, and how did you decide on Northeastern?
I remember at one point I was customizing pads for to go to the Armada, to Blainville. That's who drafted me. And Joel Bouchard was there, and he was kind of trying to recruit me, and he was great. I was pretty convinced at one point, but I had always felt like deep down that college was the way to go. It just gave me more time to develop as a goalie, especially as a goalie, because it takes so much longer to kind of mature and feel the game. So I didn't feel like there was ever a rush. I felt like major junior was a little bit of a rush, so I decided to just take my time, go to college. If I need till I'm 24, I could take it. So just that extra leeway, kind of just like a little bit of peace of mind where I could just kind of focus on just having fun every day and getting better, rather than trying to make a team, trying to be the best at this level. Like, kind of just take it day by day. And I think that mentality, like the no rush mentality, helped me a lot. And I think at the end of the day, it accelerated my process too.
We talked to some former teammates of yours, and it was mentioned the kid's like a genius. He's also a space cadet. He's basically like amazing at schoolwork, but out to lunch. And so was schooling actually always really important with your family? You were always a good student, and was that kind of how your life went early on? You were always into school. It wasn't just like, I'm a hockey player.
Yeah, I'm definitely a space cadet outside the rink and outside the classroom. But when I want to put my mind to something, I can. So, yeah, I mean, I always worked hard in school. Always got good grades. I think that helped me just growing up. My parents were big on that, big on college. Getting your degree, being a well-rounded person. So, when Northeastern came knocking on the door, it was a no-brainer. Like, go play in the bean pot. It's something special. Not everyone gets to do. So.
We saw a video. Yeah. Somebody sent the video of you, getting crowd surfed and you chugged the beer. And then I think, was it Oposo who said that nobody can chug a beer faster than you? How did you learn to do that?
He doesn't even drink.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, that was probably the first beer I've chugged. Like, I'm not a big drinker and I didn't drink much growing up. And, it was just with the boys, we were having like a little contest that I was like, I don't even know.
Just a natural.
Yeah, and I just went off against one of the guys, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
You just deleted the thing. Just boom, gonzos.
Yeah, I was able, growing up, to kind of take a water bottle and smush it and get all that water down. But I've never tried it with beer, so it was just funny. All the boys were loving it.
How buzzed were you off of one beer?
Yeah, I was feeling it.
Is Northeastern Ivy League, or is it kind of not?
No.
I went there, Biz. It can't be.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It's like Davenport University where I went. A bunch of portables. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Hockey East.
Okay. I just thought everybody's talking about how smart you are. Your father's a software engineer, so obviously is that where you got the brains?
Yeah, my mom too is smart. She did well in school, but. My dad, I got my ambition from my dad for sure, but it's not Ivy. I actually wanted to go to Ivy so bad. I remember growing up, it was Harvard, just like I wanted to go to Harvard. I remember my coach, John Goyens with the Lions growing up in midget. He gave me, Harvard's number, text the coach, he's interested, reach out to him. I probably sent him 10, 15 emails, texted his phone, expecting an answer and never got an answer.
You got hit with the restraining order?
Yeah, my coach just kept telling me hey, he's gonna answer, just keep going for it, And at one point I was just like, all right, I'm not going to Harvard. And then Harvard, it's just a cool story, full circle. Harvard ended up banging back on my door. A little bit later when it was time for me to make a decision, I was like, nah, I'm going Northeastern. Playing Harvard in the bean pot also. I definitely felt a little bit of, something's there.
Was that coach still there?
Yeah.
Ted
Were you fucking
Donato,
staring
he played in
him
the
down?
NHL a long time, Biz.
No shit. Oh, that's where he is. Well, I don't know the whole college scene, right?
No, I know. That's why I told you.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. I ended up meeting him after World Juniors.
Did you give him the throat slash after you guys beat him? Fuck you, bitch. Don't answer my fucking texts.
What other schools did it come down to? Was it kind of just Northeastern from the get-go, or was there other schools that were pretty close once decision day came?
So I was actually committed to Vermont at first. They were the first team that offered me. And at the time, I didn't know what else I was going to get. So I kind of just jumped at the bait and I took it. And, a little bit down the line, just playing in the CCHL, I kind of realized that, I'm doing well. I could go to a big school. And some other schools came knocking. And Northeastern was one of them. And it was Jim Madigan just came and just offered me the red carpet, hey, you're gonna start here, you're our guy, we want to ride you, and no other team's done that. So it was a no-brainer to go and be a Husky.
I know you guys play in one of the oldest rinks in the world, Matthews Arena. Have they done it over at all on the inside? I know place was like a fossil back when I was going to school there.
Fun barn though.
It is a great place to watch a game. Unreal place for a game.
It's awesome. The atmosphere in there is amazing. I don't know what it looked like when you went to school, but I don't think it's changed.
Didn't have plumbing yet.
Oh, really? I think it was.
No, I hate that, old buddy. But I read your coaches, they had to pull the reins in on you a couple of times because you just wanted to be on the ice so much. And one year you guys could meet as a team, but you couldn't go on the ice yet. So you put the full pads on it and went outside on one of a Boston street on the concrete, took shots out there. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Mike Kondo. So he pulled me off the ice a few times. I just like staying out after practice, just messing around with the guys, playing 2-puck rebound. It's hard for me to get off the ice, but he pulled me off a lot, and I kind of realize now why he did that. Like with 82 games, it's a long season. I remember just like 2 weeks ago, I'd played the first 4 games, and I hurt myself a little bit after the 4th game. It was 4 days in a week, so it was a lot. And I remember my girlfriend, she texted me, and we didn't win the game. She's like, "It's all right. Like, it's only 4 games. You got 78 left." I'm like, wow, 78 games left. Like, she didn't know what she was saying. Like, I was like, wow, that's a lot of games. So, just being able to manage a 82 game season, so different than, managing a 35 game college season. So, I think I got away with it in college, but, just kind of rewriting the script a little bit and being able to be more professional, take care of my body now. But yeah, I was out on the pavement taking shots from the boys in full gear off the ice. So yeah.
Do they try to kick you out of the rink? I heard you're a bit of a rink rat. You just hang out all day. Past the trainers like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, a little bit. I got a little bit of shit for staying here too long. But I told them they could leave. Like they don't need to stay.
I'll lock up.
Yeah,
I'll lock up. I got it.
Like Yaga.
I'm interested, in reading that you do a lot of work with like virtual reality, and I guess there's a bunch of teams and goalies who do this now. Can you kind of explain to me and the listeners what that even entails, what that whole program's like, and what you're doing with the goggles on?
The VR goggles?
Yeah. So Sense Arena, I first got introduced to this like platform of training at World Juniors. Jason LeBarber was the one that got a VR headset for myself and the other goalies. And at the time, it was just kind of like, let's like screw around, just like have some fun. It's like a video game, taking shots. But I realized like I could actually use this to get better, like for my development. So, there's so many different purposes that I use it for now. Like it's a great tool for when I'm injured, to, take shots if I'm not able to skate, like just stay in the swing of things. It's so realistic. There's actual guys shooting. Like I have to read a blade, like track a puck. I got to move around too. So, it's been great for like just when I don't want to go on the ice, if I need to take a little bit of time off for whatever reason, injury, like just like fatigue, I don't have to put the gear on. I could just put this on. I just need a living room and I could face shots. So it's been pretty cool for me.
Hey, the only problem is like LeBarber gives it to you and it's the Undertaker jumping off a steel cage. You're like, can you switch to the hockey mode?
I was going to say porn. He's like, oh, Jesus. Get your hand out of it. Whoa, Jesus. Oh, you got the goggles on. Hey, does every goalie that tries these agree with you though?
No.
Or is it just you neurologically, like it works for you?
Not everyone thinks it works. There's different people that think different things. For me, it works great. I've seen a lot of guys that it's worked great for too. Some people just can't stand not like it's not actually there. There's no one actually shooting. So like,
do you think the Oilers goalies know about these things?
I have no idea, man.
Okay. I hate to put you on the spot there, but fuck, those guys have been brutal this year.
Early on when you were using it, did you ever have any instance you see like viral videos of people like punching TVs or like falling downstairs because they get so wrapped up into what they're doing?
Yeah, I've seen those videos. They're really funny. But I think
does it take a while to get used to?
Yeah, like the best part about them though is like giving them to the boys. Like whenever they see me using it, they all want a piece, and so I give it to them, and it's hilarious seeing them try to stop a puck. Like they think they're so good until they put these VR goggles on. So it's really funny seeing them try to stop pucks.
What do you mean they can't just stand there with the goggles on and make the motion of a goalie and get in front of it? It's going that fast where it's like if you're not a goalie, you're getting fucking scored on every time.
It's realistic, man. Like they're
come on.
The puck.
It isn't you shooting on there, Biz.
Who's the best non-goalie? Who's the player who can do it the best?
Owen Power is really good. Opie's really good. Ken Johnson also. I kind of trained him. He's solid now too. So they could be goalies now, but yeah,
just in case, like maybe a couple goalies get the flu. Power's going in net for the Sabres.
Yeah, I don't know if he's fitting in my gear. We might have to get him some some bigger gear. But, yeah.
Well, they get hey, use your sponsorship, use your brand to get them some extra pads just in case. I would pay to see money to see Power in net.
Yeah, he's a goalie mind. I think he'd be good. I think he'd be solid.
All right.
Dev, I mentioned you got taken in the 7th round. Were you expecting to go a little bit earlier, given the success you had, prior to the draft?
Yeah, I remember going into the draft like not knowing if I was going to get drafted. It was just like I did well in the CCHL, but I think it was a lot of question marks for some scouts just because they hadn't really heard of the league, and I think I had to plead to every single team why I think I could play in the NHL at 6 feet. So that got old quick. But I think looking back on it, like what happened kind of fits my personality like pretty well. I grew up as an underdog. I thrive when I feel like I'm being doubted. So I think that whole situation kind of gave me a lot of fuel to kind of be here right now.
Like, what was their concern? You being 6 feet, like you were too small or something at that size? Yeah,
exactly. I think a lot of guys only think that like 6'4", 6'5" goalies could stop the puck because they're bigger. But that's I kind of made it my mission to kind of prove them wrong.
You keep like a book, like the guy in Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I just write everything down. Everyone who's ever told it to me, I got prove this guy wrong, prove that guy wrong.
Anybody ever call you like, hey, I was wrong. You weren't too short. You just got the puck. Just cross them off. Hey, did you negotiate your own contract?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay, because you're the only player from the 2020 draft it says here you're outside of the first round where you got max on all salary, bonuses, and everything you could. So I don't know. Tip of the cap to your agent, man. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Did you were you telling him like, nah, go back, get me more, or like he just did that all himself?
We were going back and forth, but he did a good job. Fucking
rights.
Yeah,
got him right by the ball. I mean, they're fucking giving out 8-year deals to all the other guys. At least you can get his max out on your entry level, right?
Yeah. I mean, Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin are pretty special players, so they deserve it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't mean to put you on the spot again for the second time.
I mean, you were playing college, so I guess it wasn't like it's right on your mind. But when you got traded, were you surprised, or was it more like, oh, I haven't even been there, so it's not a big deal? Had you heard anything, or was it just random call? Hey, you're a Buffalo Sabre property now.
I was coming back from the movie theater at night with like some buddies, and I got 4 missed calls from Bill Zito. I was like, what? What's going on? And so I gave him a call back, and he just told me I'm traded. I was like, wow, like I've been drafted for 6 months. Like I didn't even play. Like that's kind of crazy. I was like, okay, where am I traded to? And I got a call from Seamus Kayak, who's goalie development guy with the Sabres, and very warm welcome. But I think the most memorable part of that was Roberto Luongo gave me a call a little bit after. And, he was a guy that I looked up to when I was a kid. He was the first NHL goalie that I met, and he was one of the reasons why I became a goalie. So it was really cool to be working with him when I was with the Panthers. And I remember, so Roberto was given the pick, the last pick of their draft. And, Bill Zito gave it to him and his brother, and he said, hey, do what you want with it. And so he chose me. I was his first pick.
That's awesome.
When he joined the organization. So when he gave me the call, like he was in tears. And it was just heartbreaking. Like he was heartbroken. And it was very special, that phone call to be on that level with such a hockey legend.
Had he went and watched you play that season?
I don't think in person, but I think him and his brother Leo did a lot of video. There was so much behind the scenes going on during the draft. Like my goalie coach Marco knows Leo very well, and like they were talking, and he's like, "You gotta draft this guy," and it was crazy. There was a lot happening behind the scenes. So looking back on it, it was actually wild that I got drafted, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, your first 2 college games, back-to-back shutouts. Did you even surprise yourself with that?
Yeah, not a bad start. It felt good. It was great. It was great. Great way to get things going. That's for sure. I think it was just the perfect start to college. I think me and the boys just took momentum from that, and we kept going. College was probably the best time of my life.
Now, after you dominate a level like that 2 straight years, it is time to move on. And I'm sure Buffalo said the same thing, but was there a part of you that wanted to go back, or were you already mentally like, I'm ready for this next step?
Yeah, I think after the first year, I was getting calls from Buffalo.
We'll give you 1 more year, they said, probably.
Yeah, so I told them that I wanted to go back. I still haven't let in a goal in a Guinness Arena, so I was like, let's give them a shot.
Fuck off. Fuck out of here.
And they still didn't score, but it was.
That's where BU plays, Biz.
I know. I figured.
Okay.
He's got you by the balls.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I had to come into that plan. But yeah, I definitely wanted to go back for 1 more year. I think that there's no like I said before, my approach to my career has never been through rushing and trying to get to the next level as quick as I can. So I think it was a no-brainer to go back, just take my time, just develop 1 more year. It's only 2 years of college, 2 years of playing. So I think it helped me a lot.
What was the game that Kevin Adams told the story where he went to see you play and you ended up getting shelled for 7 goals? And then
it was against Harvard, I think. The team that big timed them.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
It was against.
Oh,
it was
no.
against. It was
regretting
against
the throat slash. Instantly regretting the throat slash. And then he's giving it back to you.
Did you know he was there that game?
Yeah, I did know he was there.
Oh, fuck. That sucks.
Yeah, but the support I got from him after the game, he said hey, I really like that. You went back in after and continued playing. So I was like, if he doesn't think that's a bad game, then shouldn't be worried about what he's thinking. So he kind of just gave me peace of mind about that situation. And it made me want to beat Harvard even more going into the Beanpot, which we eventually did. So it was meant to be.
In that game where you got pulled, did you just go up to the coach and kind of bully him, put me back in? I mean, you don't really see that ever. So it must have been your decision. I want to go back in. And was he cool with it, or did you have to do some convincing?
Yeah, no, I told him.
I'm playing. I ain't never putting the pads on for you again, motherfucker. Put me back in, bitch. I got people here watching me, motherfucker.
Or I'm going to put these VR goggles on the bench and
Yeah.
You don't think I got shit on you, coach?
Yeah, I guess it went something like that. But yeah, I told him I wanted to go back in. He told me back in.
Was that the most goals you ever gave up in a game at any level?
Let me think. I've given up 11 goals once. That was my first. It was in midget AAA my first year. We went to it was really funny. It was 3-3 going into the 3rd period. And our goalie coach, Raz, he's our head coach for the game because our head coach couldn't make it. He was I don't know why. I think he was sick. And so Raz gives us the speech of his life. This is what it comes down to in the playoffs. We need to win this game. If we don't win this game, we're not going to make playoffs. This is what it comes down to. These are playoff games. These are must-win games. I led in 7 goals in the period. We lost 11-3. And it was just really funny looking back. I think it was one of my teammates' birthdays also. And he went -11 at that game. So it was just a shit show.
Oh, my God. That's a wit night. That's a wit night right there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was funny. It
must be a long-lost
I think
French
I'd rather go -4 on the show than -11 in midget. I know there's a level discrepancy, but double digits? That's fucking. You should have to sit out 5 games.
If I hit -8 in a game, I'm not letting the coach put me back out there if I even had a chance. I'm done. I don't have it tonight.
Yeah. No, but as a GM, you got to be excited about the character of a player that you drafted that were to go say that. And what was again your reasoning? You just I just didn't want to let my team down. I wanted to go to the fight till the end.
Yeah, everyone else was still playing, and so I didn't want to just be on the bench, like watch that game close out. I just wanted to close it out with the guys. It was kind of just like a little mental battle, like just go back in there. It's like I'm already letting 7 goals. Like, let's just go play. Like, it's just like another opportunity to just work on like mental strength, playing with adversity. Just like don't want to give up another opportunity to get better. So I want to get back in there.
Who's helped you with your mindset? Because I saw a few interviews, and I know when you hopped on, I said we're excited to talk to you. That's why I was so excited. Like, for such a young guy, you're so poised, and you have such a positive outlook on life and everything. Like, where did that stem from, and who's helped you build that mental strength?
I think it started from a young age with my dad. I think he's really implanted kind of seeds as I grew up to help me with that. I just remember the first thing, like probably when I was like 4 years old. For like one of my like earliest memories was I don't remember what I was doing, but I remember I wasn't doing well, and I'm like, I quit, I give up. And my dad's like, you never say that, like get those words out of your vocabulary, like never say I quit. And so it's just like programmed in me now. Like I just don't say that anymore. So it's just like interesting looking back. It's kind of like a little fuzzy because it was so long ago. It's like I was 4 years old, but I remember just throughout the years, like little seeds planted like that, that have kind of helped me like develop kind of just like a positive way of thinking.
What about the nickname Beast? Because I guess that's a new thing with Buffalo. Poso told me to ask where this came from. So all the boys are calling you Beast, but none of us know why.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. The guys give me a hard time. It started. I love the nickname, but it started as a chirp. So it was like last year I was talking to the media, or actually we'll backtrack a little. So I was just getting to Buffalo, and I was so excited to play, wanted to get out on the ice, and I couldn't get out on the ice because I was waiting for like some paperwork to get in to allow me to play. And so I was just like in the stands, like watching games. Like it was probably like 3-4 games in a row, and I'm going to the rink, and my goalie coach Marco calls me, and he's like, "Hey, like how you doing?" I was like, I wish I was just like able to play, like I wish I could just get out there and compete with the guys. Like I want to play my first NHL game. And so he's like, he gave me this line. He's like, you can't keep the beast in the cage forever, or you can't tame the beast in the cage forever, just to like fire me up, And so that like resonated with me, and like I remember just like having that as kind of just like a little motivation, a little good mindset to go into the rink. And so I ended up saying that to the media, which looking back looked really bad.
Oh,
like it was just in my head.
Quote.
I happened to, So I just said it. And so it sounded like I was calling myself the beast. Like what's it like not being like on the ice? I was like, you can't keep the beast in the cage forever. So it sounds like I'm calling myself the beast. And the boys started calling me the beast after.
Oh, fuck. That is so good. Oh my God.
Like this fucking rookie calling himself the beast.
I got to ask about the meditation you do, probably 10, 15 feet in front of the net. That you said is from Star Wars, Qui-Gon. When did that start? What year did you start doing that? And is it like a mind wipe, a visualization? What are you doing when you're sitting there kneeling there like that?
RA, I was trying to get you to do that before the putt and the Sandbagger. It's to calm you down.
I don't know if I would have got back up.
I started doing that at World Juniors. I never had a TV timeout before, so I just didn't know what to do. Like I tried going to the bench, drink some water. Like I know a lot of guys do that. That wasn't really for me. So I just kind of found that spot on the ice, and I felt comfortable. And I just kind of took a second to kind of to close my eyes, just like detach from the situation I'm in. Take a few breaths and kind of just come back to where I was. And it just gave some perspective, just like focusing on my breath gave me an opportunity to kind of just like calm my body and my mind so that I could focus better during the play. And, during World Juniors also, I think I was in quarantine for like a month, trying to just get back into camp, like coming from the States. I had to quarantine. And then the day I got out of quarantine, 5 guys test positive for COVID, and I still haven't met anyone. So I get thrown back into quarantine. So it's like a month of quarantine I was doing. So I was like, how can I get better without being on the ice? So that's when I started kind of focusing on my mind and the meditation and kind of just like being in touch with that part of the game, which is a huge part. And, you know, I still develop it and like hold it with me. So that's kind of where it started around World Junior time. And so, yeah, I guess the Qui-Gon reference. So, you know, my dad came up to me after, he's like, hey, you know, like Qui-Gon, like that, you look exactly like Qui-Gon when you do that. And like, maybe I did that because I watched the movie so many times, maybe not, it was subconscious, I don't know, but it kind of worked. So I just kept rolling with it. And yeah, it kind of spiritual Star Wars, if you put it.
Qui-Gon's in the newer ones then, all right? Have you seen those ones?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen them all. I wanted to ask, did your dad, I know he showed you all the movies. Did he show you the original trilogy first, or did you see the prequels first?
I saw the prequels first. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the
Now,
prequels
for a
first.
non-Star Wars guy, I've never seen them, but would I want to watch because they're prequels actually those first?
The
I
OG
think,
3 ones are just so much better than anything that I won't even
Yeah.
I won't even watch
I know,
them.
but then I feel like you're saving them. Like you're seeing what happened before, and then you're going to the OG3, and that's actually like the correct time frame.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I grew up I watched like the prequel first, and then I watched the original 3. There's like it kind of sucked going back to like shitty bad quality lightsaber fights.
Hey.
Because
you fucking kids.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little younger than you guys, but I liked watching how like Anakin became Darth Vader. That like seeing that like happen, like it was kind of like a plot twist. Like that was sick growing up. And then I rewatched them in like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and you know you get like the benefits of both.
Are you aware of the deal? I know you're savvy with the contracts. Are you aware of the deal that George Lucas signed with Star Wars in order to? Wasn't it Trung Fan who was telling us the breakdown of this?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
do you remember the exact numbers of what he ended up getting on merch? You should have worked in a merch deal on your contract. What was it, RA, that George
Where were you
Lucas ended
guys
up
when
getting?
I was signing my contract?
So, somewhere in the billions biz. Yeah, he basically, you know, no one knew Star Wars was going to be a hit, so he licensed all the merchandise to himself. There, yeah, whatever, guy, and he sold like billions of dollars.
Well,
worth
he
of it.
took he took a $300,000 hit making the movie to get them to agree to have him own all the merch. So he was just thinking ahead.
He saw light years ahead.
Ooh,
There you go, a little pundit for you.
have you been watching any of the shows?
Yeah, I watch the shows. It's fun. It's funny though, because like I'm a Star Wars fan. Like I feel like people think that like because like I've been asked this so many times that like I go back home, put my Star Wars PJs on, like close the lights and watch Star Wars until 3 a.m. But yeah, it's just funny. Like I definitely love the movies, but like I've been watching some of the TV shows. I liked Obi-Wan a lot. I'm in the middle of Ahsoka. I like Mandalorian also a lot. Those were great seasons too.
So it's not true that you make your girl call you Anakin in bed?
I don't know. It depends.
He's gonna
That
send it
must
on
be another
purpose.
rumor.
He doesn't. They don't sleep together. He's at the rink.
Actually, you are at the rink a lot. But
I'm at
what
the rink right
in
now,
the summer when you're not training, like what are your hobbies?
Hanging out at the rink.
I'm at the rink right now. That's all I do. No, I like playing tennis. I like playing piano also. I don't know how to read piano. I just kind of watch YouTube and like remember what keys to hit, and then just kind of hit those keys, and I remember how to play some songs.
Oh shit, huh?
When did you start playing piano?
My dad actually started, like I came home one day, like my whole family got home, like me and my brother got home from school. My mom picked us up and I walk in and my dad's playing the piano. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, when did you learn how to play the piano? Like we had a piano in our house for like 10 years and no one's touched it. And he just starts playing like this crazy song. And he's like, yeah, I've been practicing when you're at school. And like he learned like that, like just from like YouTube, like the keys come down and like you could see which keys to hit. So he has no clue how to, like, we're phony piano players. We don't actually like know how to read piano, but like when he did that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that now. So I just learned how to play.
So how long would it take you to memorize a song?
At first it took a little bit, but now I could probably learn a song in like less than an hour.
No shit.
Like just play around with
just by memorizing.
Do you like no modern songs or like old classics like Tchaikovsky and shit?
No, like more like modern songs, like songs that people know. So I could whip out the piano maybe one day and play it for some people to sing along to. But
yeah, normally you get guitar guys on the team. You know, he's whipping out the piano as a party trick. Hey, can you sing too? Do you sometimes start singing along?
No, I can't sing.
Okay, all right.
I know our producer Mikey Grinelli wanted to chime in with a question. G.
Yeah, Devon. So a former teammate told me I had to ask about fingernail scandal at Northeastern. You got to tell that story. I guess it's there was a big investigation and what happened there.
Yeah, that was funny. So one day I was just stretching in the locker room. Like I don't remember why I wasn't on the ice. Maybe I think it was like quarantine, like lockdown or something. So I was at the rink, like couldn't be with the boys. So I was just like stretching in the locker room. And I was just like stretching on the carpet, and I hadn't cut my nails in so long, so I was just like in a pose, and I was just like picking them off. I put them in a little pile so that I could throw them out. And anyways, I forgot to throw them out when I left the room, and I'm leaving the room, and like one of my team was like, "Whose fingernails are these? Dev, are these yours?" I was like, "No," and then I was like, "Shit!" Like I just said no. Like, how do I recover from this? And then anyways, I made it into like this game. Like it was actually really fun in the locker room. Like I wrote like a letter on the board, and I'm like, give 3 guesses to figure out who this is, and like try like you got to figure it out, and like if you get me, like I'll say who I am. And it created chaos in the room. Like it was like a whole big game of like Mafia. I don't know if you've ever played Mafia, but I loved that game growing up. And I kind of made like chaos in the locker room. Like we have like prime suspects on the board. Like we have people circled and like everyone's going back and forth, like trying to figure it out. It was so funny. I ended up telling them that it was me that orchestrated the whole thing. It was hilarious.
That is so ridiculous. A murder mystery over the fucking fingernails. Was there one guy who was just taking so much flack? And it's like, fuck you.
There was one guy that was getting roasted, and he's like, I swear it's not me. Like, it's not me. Everyone ganged up on him, and it wasn't him. It was so funny.
Oh, that is so good.
I was like, are you sure? Like, I saw you yesterday, like, come in the rink, like, earlier. Like, and he's like, no, it wasn't me. It was funny.
Fuck, that'd be funny if you could stir something up in the Sabres locker room, kind of like that murder mystery style.
I don't know if I could do that yet, but I'll definitely get around to it.
What do you mean? Didn't Fleury come in swinging? Didn't Marc-Andre Fleury come in swinging with the pranks?
I wasn't with him his rookie year, because remember his rookie year was actually before the lockout canceled season.
Okay.
So I can't say, but I mean, when I got there, yeah, he was already torturing everyone. He was torturing my dad on dad's trips.
That's so funny.
Were you also were you a prankster too on top of that?
A little bit. Like sometimes try pranking the boys, but we got pranksters on this team. Like I think a few days ago, like I left the rink. Like I'm just opening my bag, like trying to get like something out of it, and it's like I have 200 Sharpies exploding out of my bag. Like someone just stuffed all the Sharpies in the locker room and just stuffed them in my bag. I was like, how the hell did these get here? So yeah, we definitely got some pranksters for sure.
That's a lot more innocent than some old school ones. Who did we have on who said it was in Vancouver, where the guy got a brand new like 5 Series BMW, and the guy's got his keys, and they put his sunroof and they filled up his whole car with like buttered popcorn.
I saw that on YouTube. Yeah, that was hilarious.
It's on there.
Yeah. So I think it was last year. That is so funny, man. I saw that. I was dying.
Oh, this was an old school guy talking about. These guys are still doing that shit. God, that's ruthless.
Yeah, maybe they recycled it. I think it was Minnesota. I'm not sure though.
Okay.
It's
Who's the loudest guy in the Sabres room?
The loudest.
Just always yapping, always talking.
Benson?
Eric, not Betty. Eric Comrie has a lot of stories. He's always talking about something.
Another note we heard, big Spider-Man fan, but have they overdone it with Spider-Man? They have like 3 or 4 different versions of it already. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, I love all of them. I love all the movies that they make. I'm a big Spider-Man guy. Like I've been watching that since a young kid, since I was young. But I think like just like I don't know. I feel like it just meshes like with like who I am. Like just like those movies are so good. I think because they're like doubt me movies, and I love that stuff. Like when the main character's doubted, like the most like unlikely person to like save these people and like save the day. It's like Peter Parker, like this nerd. And it's just fun. It just like it like fires me up. Like fucking right. So this guy's not supposed to like be the guy, but he is, you know? And it just
Absolutely.
fires me up. I love watching movies like that.
Are you into the whole Marvel thing altogether, or more specifically, just Spidey?
So, yeah, Spider-Man is my favorite, but I love all the movies. All the Marvel movies are really good. I'm a big fan of them.
Sorry, boys, you can chime in with something else.
No, you're good. No, I love this. I love that chatter. It gets a little weird sometimes. You mentioned Luongo already. You grew up idolizing Carey Price, though. Have you ever had a chance to talk with him and hang out with him and pick his brain?
Yeah, so I met him when I was also really young. There's a picture of me and him and PK Subban. I met him probably I was 11 or 12 years old, just became a goalie. So that was really cool, especially growing up in Montreal, you know, idolizing him, going to see his games. And so it was funny because my girlfriend, like 2 years ago, I want to say, no, last year she was at like the Toronto Raptors game at the Bell Center, and like she like got gifted like these tickets. She was like sitting right in front, and Carey Price like is right next to her. And she was like Dev, like, you want me to give him give him the phone? No, give him the phone. Like, you want to say hi to him on FaceTime? I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And so my girlfriend FaceTimes me and then hands him over the phone, and she's like, hey, this is Devon Levi. You want to talk to him? And then he's like, oh, I know. Yeah, I know who Devon Levi is. Give me the phone. And so he was just like, hey man, like, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing well. How about you? How you feeling? Like, how's your knee? And you know, we just had a quick conversation and just wished them the best. And that was really cool to be able to talk with him. And I think I guess a couple months later, like when I started with the Sabres, he sent me a really nice text, like 2 paragraphs, just saying, like, just giving me some advice, just saying, like, telling me to enjoy the process every single day. You know, he says he wishes he was just starting out also, so he's excited to follow. So it was really cool, like full circle moment. Great guy, just reaching out to me like that and, you know, giving me his support.
That's incredible.
Do you have like are you a superstitious guy, or would you more kind of call it a routine, like in terms of night before games, after pregame nap, things like that? Is there anything you're always doing constantly before games?
More of a routine, I would say. Like, if I can't get my routine in, it's not like, oh my God, I'm gonna play like split today. Like, it's more of a routine. I just really enjoy it, and I think it helped me. Like, it helps me with consistency. Like, if I'm doing like the same stuff that I know works, I just get consistent results. So, you know, I think I started figuring that out kind of when I was playing in the CCHL in Carleton Place. Like, you know, it was low scouted league, like not many scouts there. Like no one really gets drafted out of that league. So I was kind of like, this is a great opportunity for me to just like improve and get better every day. So I felt like I was like a scientist in a laboratory, just like trying to like make like this potion, like something that works, like what like figuring out like what's going to work for me, what's going to make me like the best. And so like I wasn't doing school at the time that year. Like I was living at a billet house. Like it was in Carleton Place, which is in the middle of nowhere, nothing else to do. So it's like, let's just be all hockey this year and just see how good I could get. And I was dialed. Like I was probably a little bit too dialed. Like it's probably going crazy a little bit looking back, but it worked. Like I got way better that year. And that's kind of when I realized like I could play in the NHL. Like if I keep going, like I could do this. I could prove people wrong. So that was a big year for me. You know, it's like everyone's always looking to like chase the highest level, but for me, it was at like one of the lower levels that I realized like my potential. So that's kind of just why like I think it's not always good to chase the next level. Just be where you are, and you can learn a lot.
Incredible.
RA gave me a potion once. I haven't been able to walk straight since.
So I should go slow it away.
Hey, so on your mask, you have the May the Force be with you, obviously, because your Star Wars connection. Are you a big time gear junkie? Like, do you love all the gear?
Yeah, I do. I love the helmets, like just like designing my own helmets, like finding new creative ways, like just to make it personal and putting like cool touches on it. I love doing that. I like growing up, like I'd always like want to get the gear that like Carey Price has. I remember when I was young, I had a dream about like being like in like Marc-Andre Fleury's like all gold gear or his full yellow setup. So yeah, I just always loved goalie gear. Like definitely it's so fun customizing it. Like now with like CCM and like you have a plain sheet, like you could put whatever you want on it and they could like digitally like print it on the pad. So it's just fun customizing pads, like something a little different every year.
You mentioned Mafia a little while ago. Are you a member of Bill's Mafia up there now that you're in Buffalo?
I am. I purchased my hat.
Did you go to a lot of games?
I've been to 2. We went to New York to watch the Jets versus the Bills at the beginning of the year, some team bonding. And then we went to watch a Bills game also a few weeks ago. So it's great.
Is that when they put the Maple Leafs on the field and you guys were in the nosebleeds?
Yeah, we got the pity invite that week because they had the Maple Leafs on the field. I think Cousins put like a comment like on Instagram like with an emoji and like it blew up. So I think we got the pity invite next week.
Actually, Cousins clip came out today, pissed off at the end of that Philly game. Ends up fighting Hathaway and kind of mentioned like, yeah, I was a little out of my weight class.
Check the
Like,
game notes,
he
bud.
missed 2 games, right? So, I mean, did he have anything to say in the locker room after?
I don't know, but I kind of love that out of him, you know? Like it fires me up. Like you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Like fuck, like it fired up the boys. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to take like punches to the face like that. Like you gotta love that. Like that shows some character. So, you know, like he has a bruised face. Like I think it's sick, you know? I love that.
You ever been in a goalie scrap?
No, I've never been. You know, if my time was called upon, I would though. If I needed to defend the boys, then I'd do it in a heartbeat for sure.
Is that part of your training in the summer? Have you ever like done any jiu-jitsu or wrestled around?
I did karate when I was younger, actually. I was a white belt.
Fucking rights.
I got 3 rapid fire ones. I got to ask the Star Wars ones real quick. Favorite episode?
I'd say Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. Favorite character?
Anakin, Darth Vader.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's kind of 2 of them. And best lightsaber fight. We mentioned lightsaber fights.
Yeah, I think it's for sure the one where Anakin faces Obi-Wan. Where Anakin kind of turns into Darth Vader in that scene where Obi-Wan slices him in half.
There you go. All right. Like I kind of expected that. You're a youngster, and it's episode 3 I think is Revenge of the Sith.
Episode 3.
The only thing we didn't really ask you about was the Olympics, the 2022 Olympics. You ended up going over there. Is that what? So that's like the whole quarantine process you had to go through, like the crazy one. But like, what was your time like over there? Did you have fun? Did you get to like embrace the culture at all?
Man, it was unbelievable. Like it was pretty like it wasn't even that bad because it wasn't locked down that bad once you got into it. Like you just couldn't leave. But once you're inside like the Olympic bubble, like you're free to do whatever you want. So I had the time of my life there. Like the boys were unbelievable. Like some of the veteran guys on that team, like I'd never been on a team with like players that are like almost twice my age. So I didn't know how I was going to go. Like these guys are like my dad's age almost. But they were amazing. Like I had like the time of my life with them. Like we were just like, it was just like, we were like kids in Disneyland, you know, like we have a whole village to ourselves. And it was just unbelievable. It was so fun. Like the guys were unbelievable. Them too. That's when I brought my VR there and we had like a team party, like at the end. And like guys are like having beers, putting the VR on, like trying it out. Like we all stuff. It was fun.
It's weird to hear that you were kind of like you never had that experience because your former coach Jason Clark described you as the only way I could describe Devon Levi is He's married, 35 years old, and has 2 kids, except he's 19 years old. So I don't know what he means by that, but you seem like an old soul compared to that comment.
Yeah, that's funny. Maybe, I don't know. That's a funny comment. Maybe because, I was pretty dialed in. Pretty, like, I guess, like, compared to my teammates, like a different approach to the game at my age, I guess. But
okay, that's fair.
But yeah, like it was just a great time. Like had a blast with them. Also, like every time I play for Team Canada, it's so fun. Like World Juniors was like one of the best experiences of my life. Like being able to play in that tournament, watching it growing up. Getting invited as the 5th goalie, and like who knows like what this guy's got. Let's see what he's got. They kind of just gave me an opportunity. I ran with it. Even though it was locked down, not a lot of fans. Like it was. We still made like the most out of it. It was so fun. And, playing, being with the guys at World Championships, like even this summer, super, super fun, like to be able to be with like an NHL team. And, I hadn't really been to Europe much. And, it was cool playing with like some of those guys like Lucic. Actually, I have a funny story about that, about Lucic.
Oh God, here we go.
So we were on and not nothing crazy, but
he's like, can you chug a beer on VR?
we were leaving the rink. Like this is kind of when I learned like I said before, like I'm still learning the ropes as a rookie. Like this kind of like one of my learning experiences. So I'm rolling out of the rink at like 2:59 for like a 3:00 bus. And, the bus is just right out front. Like, I'm just walking in like, what's up, boys? Like, I just walk in, like, no seats available. Everyone's on the bus already. I'm the last one on the bus. And so I was like, okay, like, I'll walk to the back. And, like, I'm walking and I'm like, hey, Luch, like, you able to move over? And, like, he's the last one, like, last row. And I'm like, Luch, like, let me hop in there. And he moves over and I'm sitting in the back of the bus with Luch. Like just walking in like a 40-year-old vet. Like I didn't know that at the time, like the bus rules and like you got to get there early and you got to sit in the front as a rookie. But it was just funny. I definitely ate some chirps for that.
That's awesome.
He wasn't mad at all though.
Who right now on the Sabres, when you guys are doing like shootout practice, just has your number, or you're like, oh fuck, like I can't figure this guy out yet?
There's a lot of good players. I think I have their numbers, but no. Tage is really good. He's a great shootout player, like super long stick. Actually, he doesn't even have that long of a stick, but his reach is still long because he's so big. There's a lot of guys that are good. Like some guys, like the thing is with like at this level, like guys are finding new ways to kind of like put the puck in the net. Like growing up, it's kind of just like guys look at NHL players to like find new moves. So like you kind of see those moves around, but now it's like these guys are able to like kind of create on the spot, which is pretty cool. So we got some good shootout players on the team. But yeah.
You're a space cadet. Who's the vet who's keeping you in line? Who's always like, yo, hey, space cadet, nah, this way?
Eric Johnson's been great. He's been awesome. Like,
okay.
He's a new addition to the team and he fits in perfectly. We're stallmates in the locker room and in the dry stall area. So he's stuck with me. He has a little piece of tape like between our stalls so that I don't cross.
Keep your shit on your side, buddy. The fuck out of my stall, rookie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in his grill all the time, just we're chirping each other, having a good time. So he's been great. Like he's been helping out and just like feeding me some chirps, feeding it back to him. It's been great.
Has he convinced you to get a sauna yet?
Yeah, he just got his sauna actually. He has like this hat, sailor hat he's got inside. Yeah, he's awesome. He's super big on the sauna. He got all the boys dialed in on it now. Like I think like a few more guys got saunas and the big sauna team.
Kevin Adams was telling who was it? Darlene. And like the next day, Darlene had a $20,000 sauna delivered. We thought maybe he was the one like selling them and getting commission or something.
Actually, EJ named one of his horses Pink Whitney.
EJ
is a horse guy, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he sent me a picture. It was in a race somewhat recently, like during training camp. So hopefully that thing goes on a run.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think I've heard him talk about that maybe, but maybe I didn't pick up on it. That's pretty cool.
Do you know what Pink Whitney is?
No, I have no idea. I've done that. I've had that.
Oh, you have?
I have.
So he named one of his horses after our drink. Did he tell you he was going to do that, Whit?
No, he just sent me a picture of, look at my new horse, Pink Whitney. He's
That's
the best,
fucking
dude. He's I think EJ's 5 years younger than me. And so we never played together until Olympics in Vancouver. And he was like torturing me. He's like, hey, do you have a thong on? You got to ask him the story. And I'm like, what do you mean? And like, he's younger than me, just owning me the whole term. He's like, dude, are you wearing a thong? And I don't even think he knew what he was doing, but it was fucking with me so bad. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? But he's an interesting cat.
Did he never told you why he kept asking if you were wearing a thong?
No, I think he's like, I said it joking around, and your mind was in such a pretzel that I just like kept torturing you with it.
You like check, like you open your pants, see if you had a thong on.
Yeah, I was like, shit, did I wear my thong today? That's biz, actually.
Yeah.
Did he put that tape down because he heard you weren't exactly Mr. Tidy when you were at Northeastern?
Yeah, you got a rep for being messy.
Do I? That's funny. Yeah, I'm not the cleanest. Definitely not the cleanest. But you should have seen my college room. My college dorm, my first year. Oh man, I did not know how to do laundry or anything. Like the food, there was clothes all over. Me and my roommate, we were both disasters. So it wasn't pretty.
Are you the guy who's got like 15 plastic bottles in the passenger where the feet are?
No, actually, I'm not that guy. I just got my first car though, so I haven't had that opportunity.
What'd you buy?
So I actually didn't buy it. Like the dealership here, kind of just. One of the dealerships, I forget their name, but they just gave it to me to drive for the year, which was pretty cool. They gave me it was sick, like blacked out Grand Wagoneer. Which is
those
sick.
are nice.
Oh yeah.
Hey, they're gonna take it away though, considering you don't even know their name.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you want to like plug the name here, or do you not remember?
I don't remember. It's like,
you know what you should have to do now? One of those like old school car commercials, like it was filmed for a VHS. You should have to do that for him because you forgot the name of the place.
Yeah, I should do that.
Do it like
you're gonna have a VW bug. You're gonna have a little Sabres logo bug driving around after
you're
this.
You're doing public transportation,
like Willie Nylander.
Yeah.
Did you have to do dorms for all 3 years, or did you live off campus when you were here?
Yeah, we did dorms all 3 years. It was kind of just like unwritten rule, like just, I guess not even unwritten, just our coach wanted us to be on campus. I loved it. Like we were all living together, like anyways, we were all roommates and we were all in like buildings, like either in the same building or right next to each other. So we all got to hang out anyways. And it was just easy to be next to the rink too. Like we all had scooters. So like no one had to drive. We had like electric scooters. And so like, if you see someone like humming around on a scooter, like down Huntington Avenue, it's like one of the hockey players or one of the athletes. I think like some of the guys would like tail cars like on the street, just like buzz to the rink. Like I'm on the sidewalk because I don't want to die. But some of the boys are like holding out the cars, like just getting trailed out to the rink.
Yeah, dangerous city to do that. And was Connor Larkin still open when you were over there? The bar?
Is what?
Connor Larkin's, the bar that's on Huntington. I don't know if maybe it was closed by the time you were there. It's the bar right next to the school.
I've never heard of it, so I don't think it was.
Where did they give you the what is it? The throw you up in the air, half you on the beanpot. What joint was that in?
That was in Two Saints. It was it's a local bar on campus. They're great. But yeah, that was a fun night. That was just winning that thing like was unbelievable. Wait, you won it, right?
Yeah, I won it 2 of the 3 years. Lost in overtime in my junior year. But it was funny because Northeastern, what was it? Was it 30 years they didn't win one?
It was a long time. And
then I think they ripped off. I think Ryan Shea might have won 4 in a row, if not 3 in a row. And then did you win both freshman and sophomore year?
So I was at the Olympics for my first one. So we ended up losing to BU that year. And then we won my next year though when I was there. It was funny though, playing in BU at Aganis, like the next time, like the last year when I played BU, like the poster that they had was really funny. They had a poster up and it was like who you want to be versus who you are, like what you wish you looked like versus what you actually look like. And it was a picture of BU's goalie the year before, Duplessis, like holding the bean pot. And then right next to it was like a picture of my brother that they must have like searched like 2 hours on the internet to find this picture. I have no idea how they found it. It was the worst picture ever. It was hilarious. They just had his face like right up against the glass on this poster. I got a good kick out of it, and I ended up getting a shutout that day. So I don't think it worked, but it was funny. All the posters, like those posters that they had like at college games, like they're the best. That was like one of the best part of colleges. I remember there was this one rink. I think it was UNH. They brought like a whiteboard, so like a giant whiteboard. So every time like I turned around, they had like something different written on it. So like one point, like after I got out of my meditation, like I opened my eyes and it's like namaste. Like they're just writing red shirts. One of them was I remember they erased that and then wrote like, "You're a fucking pepper" or something because I'm French. Well, I'm not actually French, but that's the thing. Like when I'm in Quebec, like I'm a minority because I'm considered English. Like I'm English speaking. Like I don't speak like French that well, so like I'm English speaking. And then I leave Quebec and I'm considered a pepper, but like I'm English. Like I'm a minority wherever I go. The worst is if I go to France. If someone from Quebec goes to France and you start speaking French to them, they answer you in English, like as if like you're not speaking the same language. Like speaking the same language here. My dad was born in France. You can't even talk French in France. Like so stupid.
Yeah, I've heard the French are a little rude. I've never been there, but
the French are assholes, Lloyd.
When hockey's championship game my sophomore year, kid from UNH throws it to the net, hits my stick, goes shelf and OT. So the next year I go, so they win, they're going nuts. I put it in my own net and go back for my first game at UNH junior year, and there's like 5 people wearing UNH Whitney jerseys in the front row of the Wintermore Center. I always get a kick out of that.
That's great.
Yeah, the college hockey fan bases are great. Like they're just they think of funny chirps. They're always kind of the band is what makes it so special, I think. But
yeah, the band's awesome.
Yeah. Well, dude, I don't know. You have anything else for him, RA?
I think I got enough Star Wars questions out of the way today. No, I got everything pretty much done.
You got any questions for us?
I do not. No,
that's not your job.
I always ask. Sometimes at the end, I just ask in case you got one. You know, just trying to be polite. Try it sometime.
As I remember watching, like it might have been a few years ago. You're at like a dinner table or something with some other athletes. I think like
on Sportsnet.
Yeah, Bianca Andreescu might have been there.
Yeah, it was all these unreal athletes, and then they had me there.
Yeah,
like, what
man, that was so funny. I was dying laughter watching that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, we were being silly. Who was the big basketball player? Ibaka? Was it Serge Ibaka? Yeah, that was a good time.
What the hell were you doing there,
buddy? I don't know. No clue.
Were they getting awards?
No, it was just like this. They just wanted to have like a silly conversation as part of like a content piece that they were going to put on Sportsnet. So they put these like all these random people together, and somehow I got the invite. I actually think that somebody dropped out last minute, and I got the call. So they called in the backup goalie. But yeah, no, I appreciate that, buddy. Do you watch all of our Sandbaggers or any of our stuff?
Yeah, I try to watch when I can. I'm a fan. I love it. You guys are awesome.
Do you play golf?
A little bit. I just started getting into it this summer. I'm not good at all, but like all the boys are playing. So I took some lessons this summer. I actually don't have a set of clubs yet. I got to order them. But I've been using, that's probably why I suck. I've been using different clubs every time I go.
Well,
keep practicing.
If YouTube can teach you how to play the piano, it'll be the exact opposite for golf, because there's 4 million videos that all say the exact opposite things. So maybe that won't work for you. But I think the new clubs would get you going.
Yeah, it might help a little bit.
Anytime your captain gets lippy, just remind him who took him down in the Sandbagger. Hit him where it hurts.
I will.
Let him know. Hey, keep ripping it up, buddy. Have a great rookie year. It's a blast talking to you. Hell of a guy. we're gonna really look forward to watching your career these next years down the line. So thanks a lot for coming on.
The Beast.
May the force be with
Beast.
you always.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our longtime friends at Men's League Sweaters. Listen up, all you Bear League players. You know them, we love them. Men's League Sweaters. Design custom jerseys online and get your order in 3 weeks. Guys, this is the crew that takes care of the Chiclets Cup jerseys. Unreal stuff. If you want your own, you got your Bear League team, boom. Make up your own design. The shirts are awesome. I got a bunch of them from Chiclets Cups and whatever over the years. We've been rocking the Men's League sweaters for years, G, right?
So it's actually funny, RA. So when we were in California last week, the same guy that gave Biz that Leafs shirt, he presented me a jersey, a Men's League sweater jersey. It was the traffic cones, and he had my name on the back, but it was an unreal orange jersey designed up all custom. And you know, our friends at Men's League Sweaters do it the best.
Absolutely. We've been rocking Men's League sweaters for years, and here's another sick deal for you. Free matching socks, free custom logos, and buy one set of jerseys, get the second 20% off. Wow. That's $1,000 off an average order. Visit mensleaguesweaters.com/chiclets to claim your discount. Hurry, offer ends soon. Again, that's mensleaguesweaters.com/chiclets to claim your discount. Big thanks to Devon for jumping on us. What a very interesting kid he is. Just like he's a little different outside the box, but in a good way. You know.
I'm a big fan. I hope he has a hell of a career.
Yeah, he's a pretty happy kid, man. Just like smiling the whole time.
What a great head on his shoulder.
Yeah,
just his perspective on life and how mentally strong he is.
Yeah,
that's the future of the Buffalo Sabres right there, folks.
Fucking right. Biz, there could be OT changes ahead down the line. GMs and league ops had a meeting recently, and they brought up the fact that offensive reboots are kind of killing the 3-0-3 overtime, and they're going to discuss ways or possible ways to maybe do something different. Billy Guerin, Ronnie Francis, Doug Armstrong, among those who want to take a look at possible tweaks. Longer OT is a non-starter at all. The union's not going to want to do anything with that, but what do you think, Biz? What should they do? I mean,
so to go back, I think the easy answer for everybody who's watched 3-on-3 overtime watches the 5 minutes and says, I don't want to watch a shootout now. I want to watch 5 more minutes of that amazing 3-on-3. Now, the one criticism people do have with the 3-on-3 is sometimes it can get a little bit boring because the guys will start quote unquote ragging the puck. They're in the offensive zone. They're trying to penetrate the middle, trying to penetrate that house area.
Box.
Trying to penetrate that box, get right in there, Hideki no Nomo, tie the foreskin up. But they don't like their look, so what they do is they bring the puck back outside the blue line, kill some time, maybe get a line change and some fresh bodies to go back at that team 3-on-3. And that obviously kills a lot of the momentum and fast-paced 3-on-3 play. Here is my proposition for 3-on-3 overtime. And somebody might have already came up with it. Somebody might have already said it on the podcast before. But what they need to implement if they're keeping the 5-minute 3-on-3 is they need to go to ball hockey rules. So the minute the offensive zone enters over the blue line, onside obviously, you can then take the puck all the way back to center ice and still be considered in the quote-unquote offensive zone. But the minute that one of those offensive players, in order to either get out of trouble or get his guys some fresh line mates, if he brings that puck back over center ice, you get a penalty. So basically, like the NBA, it's like an over and back rule. And people would say, well, what's that going to do? Well, it's going to create obviously a bigger offensive zone in which guys can create more speed and momentum to end up throwing pucks into space to then skate into.
Wait, so you're saying
because like a McDavid would be able to generate more speed in the overall offensive zone now in order to try to beat his guy one-on-one, and or he could be going to with speed to an area in which Leon can throw it there for him to pick up that speed and then go into whatever area he wants with more speed. People might be listening to this saying that's a dumb idea, but I just like the idea of a bigger offensive zone.
So they don't have to leave the offensive zone. You're saying that? I'm just a little confused. You're saying like there's no offside once you enter the zone and one guy leaves with it?
Once you enter the blue line, like normal, clean.
The offensive zone is the red line in.
It then now opens it up to the red line, but you can't come back over the red line yourself with the puck. If you accidentally try to pass to a guy and it goes back across a red line, obviously that's discrepancy and the ref can tell that he was trying to make a play. But if you bring it yourself over the red line to avoid check, because think about it, you'll then get jammed up at the red line. Like, let's say you get pushed out from good defensive play to close to the red line. All of a sudden you have to try to make a play and or dump it in and to try to save yourself. You can't then bring it back across a red because you're jammed up. Whereas now, if you got jammed up, guys would just skate it out of the zone and rag the puck, so to speak. So it completely avoids that happening, and it gives more room for the offensive team to work itself out. And to me, I'd rather see a game end 5 or 3-on-3 overtime than in a shootout. And I think that doing that would create more games ending with a goal. Do you guys think I'm crazy, or do you like the rule change?
I think you're crazy, and the rule change would work. So
okay, well there you go.
They got to do something.
What else are you gonna do?
They proposed half ice.
Well, you said ball hot.
They said half ice. What do you mean? What are you gonna put both nets at?
Yeah, it's a joke. That's a joke.
It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Dumbest thing ever.
I mean, when you said ball hockey, I thought you were going to say they actually chuck a ball like a street hockey ball.
No Milan ball out there.
Okay. I don't hate it. It's original. It's original because the worst part right now of 3-on-3 overtime, the rushes are incredible. But when it's 3-on-3 in the zone, guys are such good skaters that they're just skating around and nothing.
Well, they also usually protect the house. They just stay pretty tight where most of the shots are coming from outside areas, unless you got the top dogs who caught a line out there tired. I got another one too, if you guys want to think about in the meantime, you listeners and you guys, if you have any other ideas. But my buddy texted me this, and I don't know where he got this one. I said that you would basically be arguing the same thing. And this has to do with the other night in Anaheim. They lost the game 2-1. I forget to who, but there was a goal that looked like it had gone in.
Yeah, the wraparound.
Oh, yeah.
The wraparound. And so this is the text I got. He goes, hear me out. The line gets painted in the net. If the puck gets to the line, it's a goal. So basically, he's saying if you move the line into a certain area where the puck would have obviously completely crossed the line, but he says it's easier to see if the end of the puck touches the line rather than if the puck fully crossed the line. Do you think that he's completely full of shit? I feel like it's that Laurel versus everything argument, or is the dress gold or blue? It's one and the same. Do you think that it would be easier to see if the line was painted inside the net, where if the puck,
where it's like football, where you just got to touch the goal line as opposed to getting past the line?
Break the plane.
It would make it easier to figure out no goals. My only thing on he's saying like in all of hockey always have it like that.
Well, yeah, because the situation like the other night would not have happened. He says it's going to be easier to determine whether it's a goal or not if you make it the NFL rule, just touch the plane with the puck.
I could buy that.
All right.
I could buy that. Whereas it's like the reviews are quicker, like that touched the line. As opposed to like, is there any space behind the line? Like, there was a goal the other night that who scored it? This is gonna drive me nuts. Somebody scored a goal the other night where it was like called no goal. Was it Jack Hughes? I don't remember, but they ended up looking and there was enough that went. It was a Vancouver game, I think. I think it was a Vancouver game.
I think it was JT Miller's goal.
It was JT Miller's. It was JT Miller's, where it's like harder to see, like, oh my God, there's a little white behind the goal line there. The puck got over, as opposed to if it touches it, it's in. I don't hate that, Biz.
Yeah, it was JT Miller.
That was my buddy Keith Gillen from Welland, Ontario, who thought of that one. Or he probably heard it at the Rex Hotel or Trappers, where he's hanging out at his local watering hole. This is the guy, my buddy Keith Gillen. He'll never admit he was wrong.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Keith, you know exactly. Anything Blue Jays, too. He's the biggest fucking Blue Jays jock sniffer in the world. He'd probably still tell you they were coached properly in that playing game. Oh, he's so stubborn. I love you, though, Giles. The game the other night, it was
JT Miller.
It was JT. Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to a couple of my buddies in the league, Coop and Newsy, just to see their take on it. Like, I don't think the coaches are too concerned with it. Like, basically, Coop's like, we'll see. And Newsy said basically,
the team's value possession so much right now. It's lost a little luster too. So they're open to like hearing what ideas are, but I don't think they have particularly strong feelings one way or the other. I had written down this question too from Barry Trotz, an article about that OT stuff. Should teams be able to pick the penalty shot skater when a penalty is called? In other words, like a guy gets hauled down a fourth liner, should they be able to put like another guy out there to take the penalty shot?
That's fine, or the other one in terms of take the power play instead. But I want to say international had or has that rule where you can just pick anyone.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's not a bad idea. I would feel bad for like the third or fourth liner.
What do you mean? If I got hauled down, I'd be like,
want it.
I would have been like, Wizard, let's go. Donor, you're shooting. I wouldn't have wanted to shoot a breakaway.
Actually,
yeah, but that's the difference between you and some other guys. They want their chance to show their skill off. And you were just kind of panicked.
I think if the league wants more,
you don't want to be Dennis Weidman falling over on a breakaway.
No, you don't want to, or hitting a ref.
Actually, in that same vein, there was someone got I forget called for. They touched that glove in the puck. They grabbed the fucking puck in the crease. Penalty shot called. Who takes the penalty shot there? Does the team?
I think
anybody on the
ice. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure.
I would say you should be able to pick anyone because the league wants more goals and you're being penalized. Send your best.
That's how Pronger got the penalty shot goal in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Carolina Hurricanes. That happened, and Pronger was the guy they picked on the ice. I think maybe it was a fourth line. Out there for Edmonton, they went with Prongs. He scored too.
Most underrated Stanley Cup, I think.
It was awesome.
Such a good one.
That was also my first year in the NHL. So like,
oh no shit.
I feel like that year playing, I was like so much more into it because I played those teams and stuff. So I remember we actually lost to Edmonton that year, 3-0, Horkoff hat trick.
Currently, as the 3-on-3 stands, if you get a penalty as a team, it moves to 4-on-3, right?
Yes. Maybe make it 5-on-3.
I was going to say 3-on-2.
Yeah. I wonder.
They do that because there's not enough guys out there, and it almost makes it too easy to score. But if you're trying to end games in the overtime setting, I would much rather do that than add any type of.
What about this one in OT? One guy on the defensive team has to wait at the red line. So it's a 3-on-2. And then he's also there if you get it to throw him for the breakaway. And then as the defensive players skate back, one has to stop at the red line. So it's always kind of a 3-on-2.
Okay. Or
with a street hockey ball.
Or every player has to eat a 75 milligram edible.
And go to the airport with RA.
And go to the airport and then come back and play OT. No, I mean, I'd be interested to hear what your fans who listen to the podcast ideas of are how to mix up the 3-on-3 overtime. And who knows, sometimes some of these Twitter folk can come up with some great ideas.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Oh, there's some listener out there, whether it's this pod or another pod, who has the idea on what they should do.
The idea.
Do you have a saw? Hey, congrats to Jared Bednar on his 300th win as coach. He did it in the 12th fewest games ever. Did it in 550 games. Even more impressive when you consider how bad they were.
And they stuck through him that year where they were horrific.
Absolutely. Patience was a virtue there. All right, moving on to the shitty portion of the program here. I'm sure everybody heard Boston Bruin Milan Lucic has taken an indefinite leave of absence from the team after his arrest over the weekend. He was charged with assault and battery on a family member, apparently his wife. He's been arraigned the other day. Listen, we don't, there's rumors, conjecture out there. We're going to wait. We don't know what happened.
We're not rumor boys on
we're
stuff like this.
Yeah, stuff like this.
Yeah, when stuff happened with Evander Kane, we stayed away from it. And any type of family situation, guys, we avoid because, like I said, we weren't there. And we just, we want the best for these guys and their families. And we don't know. We don't know what happened.
Brad Marchand said it perfectly, I think, when the Bruins, when they interviewed him in the locker room after practice, just we're thinking about his family. That's all you can really do in a situation like this.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Shitty stuff. And in that same vein, player has been arrested in the death of Adam Johnson in England. Matt Petgrave was arrested last Tuesday on suspicion of manslaughter in the death of Adam Johnson, released on bail Wednesday. Basically, the detective said, we've been carrying out extensive inquiries to piece together the events which led to the loss of Adam in these unprecedented circumstances. We have been speaking to highly specialized experts in their field to assist in our inquiries and continue to work closely with the Health and Safety Department at Sheffield City Council, which is supporting our ongoing investigation. So I know, Biz, I know you wanted to chime in a little bit more.
So obviously when this first happened, like, it's hard. Like it's a tragedy and what, Adam Johnson's family's going through. Like I didn't I don't think any of us felt comfortable like getting into the weeds on it. Like a person.
It was more about just honoring him.
Honoring him, like the amount of trauma, not only for his family but teammates, the away team, like the fans that saw it, the player who hit him, Matt. Like, but when I originally watched the video, I watched it twice, and I watched it basically through my fingers because I knew it was going to be ugly, and it was gruesome, and the amount of blood that came out in the short amount of time. Then I turned it off. And what I thought had happened from watching it quickly was on the back check, I thought that Matt had been hit where his right leg had swung around and caught Adam in the throat. And I was like, oh, that's just, crazy on the back check. He's probably tired. He gets nicked, and then his body gets flung around, where after conversation had continued after this via text and with other people, and a lot of people in which play hockey, they were like, no, it was a reckless play. And after watching it again, it's actually his left leg that comes up in order to catch a piece of Adam as he's back checking. And Adam being the puck carrier, Matt being the back checker. And I'll say this, in all my years of playing, I never threw my leg up like that. And it was a reckless play. And you did mention it quickly on the podcast when we finished recording. And do I think that this person on the back check tried to kick this guy in the throat? Absolutely not. This is a horrible situation that is ruining tons of lives. And I don't think that this person should spend time in jail, because I don't think that he planned on killing this person on the ice. He made a reckless play that resulted in this, and that this guy's going to have to live with the rest of his life. I don't know how this plays out, guys. I do probably think that it's best that this guy takes at least the rest of the year, if not a few years, if not maybe indefinitely never play hockey again. I don't know what the answer is, but clearly that's not something you see every day happen in a hockey game, and you can't be kicking your leg up. And as a result, and what ended up happening with, I think that probably a year away from the game is probably best for just everybody, in order for this to kind of calm and cool down, because it's just a horrific event.
Yeah, I mean, just to see a player charged with manslaughter in a hockey game, it's just one of those things where, like, nothing will bring Adam back, right? But I'll say, like, if that's my son, God forbid, like, I'm looking for something to happen, and I'm with you. I don't think I'm ready to say or think that he should go to prison, but that, and I don't think I've never in my life seen a hockey player do that. That's what I'll say. I've never in my life seen a player stick his leg up and kick someone. He didn't kick him in the neck. The skate rode up, but you have some drinks and you get in the car and somebody gets killed. Like, you get charged with manslaughter. I'm not comparing the two. I'm saying it was a horrible mistake with a tragic ending. And I don't think he should go to jail. No, but I kind of understand what ended up coming from this, because that is not a hockey play. And I in saying this, I feel horrible for Matt Petgraves. I do. Like, I hope I'm not speaking out both sides of my mouth, but it was a big time mistake and something that does not belong, and I've never seen in hockey.
I would imagine he's had
I feel bad for him, man.
Many sleepless nights, and people are probably saying, like, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Well,
that's life.
If you think it was reckless, then he should serve jail time. Or it's like, no, I think that he overcommitted on the back check and tried to get a piece with him with his quad. And when you're tired, sometimes the boot's a little heavy and it flies up as a result. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like that happen on an ice surface, and the result is catastrophic. And it's, like I said, many lives are going to be ruined as a result of this, and there's no easy way to talk about it. I don't think this person should go to jail, but I also don't think if you make a mistake with a reckless play like that you should be seeing the ice time at a pro level anytime soon. And
yeah,
that's from talking to tens, if not close to 100 hockey guys about it, just in passing and quickly and on the phone, via text, whatever it may be. So that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
All right, one other note: Nottingham retired as number 47 over last weekend. So
button up that story. Now, we're going to wrap up. Actually, I'm going to call an audible and grind my gears. Gee, I just told you I was going to do one thing, but I forgot I kind of teased it on Twitter last night. Grind My Gears brought to you by BigDealBrewing.com/finder. And what grinds my gears this week was this fucking douchebag at the supermarket last night. Holy shit. There's a supermarket, Cambridge South,
You
whatever.
do groceries?
I was going to say, I can't picture you in a supermarket.
Not off, because I was going away.
They sell
I
edibles
picture
there?
you in a 7-Eleven. That's it.
It was right around the block of my house. No, Thanksgiving this week, obviously. We're going down my mother's, so, we're bringing some things. My wife's
What are you
dessert.
making? Stuffing?
Making a fucking couple J's for after the dinner. No, my wife's gonna, make a dessert and whatever, veggie tray, whatever. So I told her like fucking Wednesday, honey, you're working out. I'll go. She just likes to go up and down every fucking aisle, even though she doesn't eat anything. I was like, honey, I'll go. Just don't worry about it. That was Wednesday. It was like Thursday, Friday. So I literally had to go last night, or she would have.
You were
fucking
busy,
booted me.
though. Yeah. You were busy.
Coming down from my fucking 75 milligrams. Yeah. So I went over the supermarket. I look up, it's open on midnight. I was like, that's clutch, because Sunday night, fucking go there 10:30, 11. There's 2 people in there. I had my fucking headphones on. This doopsie doing, going up and down the aisles. I seen a couple of workers. Hey, what time do you close at? 12. Okay. We locked the door at 11:45. Okay. Fucking no problem. Getting on my shit. It's like, all right. They're like, oh, sure, it's about 20 of. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more thing. And they only had the self-checkout things now. There was no more clerks.
Yeah.
So I got fucking.
I love those.
Yeah.
No, you got $300 fucking dollars
taking over your life.
I had a lot of shit. And I goes, I'll be right back. I just got to grab one more thing. And I heard like this fucking brush. She's like, oh, yeah, one thing. She, like sassing to the other girl. I was like, what the fuck's she talking about? So I come back and I was like, oh, is any of these open? She's like, that's the only one open. You got to wait with that. She's just being like a total D-bag. And, I could sense it. I was like, what the fuck's her problem? So I started scanning it all. Now, you have to put everything on that fucking thing where the bags are. So I got like tons of shit. It's all falling over. And she's like, it's like 10 or 12. I says, listen, I asked you people what time you close. You said 12. I got in line at fucking 11:45. Like, what do you want from me here? And she was just like Hawkeyeing me. So I'm 5 minutes into the thing, and she's like, did you scan those tomatoes? A little box of like cherry tomatoes. I says, yeah, I did. She goes, I don't know. And the guy comes over. He's, I'll check. And he fucking punches in the thing. He goes, nope. I goes, you know what, pal? I'm pretty fucking sure he did. Why don't you do that again? And he pulled it up and he's like, oh, he did pay for them. And I looked at her. I goes, yeah, these tomatoes, yeah, the ones I already fucking scanned. I'm going to put them right here. Like, I was fucking fuming. She's yelling. She's like, oh, she's calling me rude. I goes, you work with fucking customers all day? How like, you do this to everybody? She's like, yeah. I was like, this fucking C-bomb. And like, I wanted to get her name. Like, I never want to get someone fired, but I was like, I want to fucking call that name.
We got spec versus memes, and we got RA versus checkout lady.
She had her fucking like arms over her nameplate, so I couldn't see it. Dude, I mean,
were you gonna report her?
Dude, I didn't today. Last night I went up to bed. I'm like, I'm definitely calling. I'm like, I don't want that's all fucking bro.
No, we have to. So we have callers coming out pretty soon where we have people call in. Can we have you call the store and get this thing on recording and hear you complain?
It's kind of illegal to do that in Massachusetts unless you got consent. But I don't want to. No, it's not about getting someone fired. It's just about saying this fucking douchebag, if she's going to work at the public, she needs to be fucking retrained. I mean, I worked customer service.
Retrainer.
Dozens
that
of years,
could be clipped horribly wrong. Dude. Should we not?
My first fucking job was a grocery store. I worked behind counters, customer service, tons of jobs. You fucking don't act like that. Like, she was acting like I was doing something wrong. I'm fucking giving you my money. I'm giving you fucking $300 for groceries. It's not even fucking midnight. And I was fuming. I had to fucking stop down the club, do a quick shot and a fucking quick beer before I went home. I was fucking shaking. I was so fucking angry. So fuck that lady. She grinded my gears this week. BigDealBrewing.com/finder. Oh,
what a way to end it. Actually, we have one more thing to talk about.
He doesn't go to supermarkets though. Like this.
Trust me, this lady was out of pocket.
I'm trying to figure out what pissed her off so much. Probably working a long day. Who knows what's going on in her personal life? And I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but I also know when you get really like, and how you forgot something, you had to go back. So you were probably like, were you a little schizophrenic like you get sometimes?
Not until she started fighting. Not until when I said I got to get one more thing. It was 10 feet away. I grabbed fucking Crisco, and I heard her say one thing, and then they got to come back with thing. That's what like first set me off. And then when I got line, she was just being fucking dude. Like, when someone's just being a fucking Charlie to you. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's fucking. I got in line with you.
Maybe she was flirting with you. Maybe she was flirting with you though. Sometimes girls are meaner to the guys they want.
That's how a lot of the videos I jerk off to start up.
She was brutal.
Hey, now I would love to pay for money to get the surveillance tape to show that he
I
was
would do
actually
anything.
checking out 15 minutes after they were closed. That's probably what was actually happening. And he was probably scratching his cornhole as he was touching the monitor with his fucking poop finger.
I wish
You
I
got to
did.
buy the tomatoes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them all fucking pink, stink eye, whatever the fuck it is. Actually, I never fucking. You guys are around me a bunch. I never snap and help like fucking.
No, you
service.
never do.
Never do. Dude, I did all those jobs. I know what they're like. I was at fucking store 24 with Charles. Well, it's 7-Eleven now.
The one in the Navy Yard?
The one on Main Street there. And I was getting fucking ginger ale for
Rolling
my
papers.
wife. And I was standing there looking at like snacks.
tummy?
And the guy's like behind the counter. He's like, can I help you? Oh, I was taking a picture of fucking. Oh, it was the Pepperidge Farm. Remember we said we should get Pepperidge
Yeah.
Farm.
Did
And
she
there
have a sore tummy? Is that why you're getting ginger ale?
No, she's just a ginger ale.
Like she's ginger ale. Okay.
So I was taking a picture. The guy's like, you all set? I'm like, yeah, buddy. I'm like, just shopping.
Were you taking a picture of? Was he in the background?
No, it was the fucking all just Pepperidge Farm cookies. No people, no one there. And he's like, you all right there? I'm like, yeah, buddy. I'm just shopping. So like, and now I'm just like starting to walk real slow and just amble. Like I'm fucking. And the guy pops up the other aisle. Like I'm looking at the price of the ginger ale cans versus the fucking 2 liter.
Saving a couple cents.
Yeah, you might as well.
Right, fucking right. So he comes over. He's like, can I help you? I'm like. This doesn't happen at fucking store. I was like, what, buddy? I'm fucking calling my wife to see which like ginger ale she wants. Like literally fucking. And he's like, oh, like he's like hounding me. I was like, buddy, what am I doing?
So maybe you were like dressed like someone who would like steal
Buddy,
from
I
them.
probably am. Every kid in Charlestown dressed the same. They probably get shoplifted all the time. But you know what? I never shoplifted. Well, probably not the last 30 years. I haven't stolen out of there. I'm not like a guy who comes in there and steals shit. I'm fucking 50 years old, 51 years old. So the guy's like, like harassing me. Like I'm like, buddy. I goes, what the fuck, dude? I'm trying to give you my fucking money, and you're fucking busting my balls over
This
here.
actually is. I could see the vein in your forehead.
I
talk.
seriously
I
do, 'cause,
legit
I don't
need a
fucking
75
flip out like
milligram
You know what I thought
edible
your
right
grind
now.
my gears was going to be? The fact that Prince William and not you was voted best looking bald guy on the planet.
The motherfucker still got a comb over. Like, he doesn't even pick the fucking thing. He's got the worst hair ever for a bald guy. Fuck him, too.
Should go to Sports Clips.
Yeah, sport clips, no shit.
I had
But-
you. I mean, Chiclets fans, maybe you guys could help this guy next year, but RA should definitely be considered for best looking bald guy on the planet. If Prince Williams is fucking winning it, come on.
Joke. Now, they had fucking Bezos on there, too. Like, he's not fucking.
He's kind of ripped
Wait,
up.
Bezos?
Another billionaire that RA hates.
No,
RA
he's
hates
not.
billionaires.
Billy
Bezos
goats.
ain't hot. I mean, like fucking Jack billionaire, whatever. He's not fucking. He's not fucking handsome by any stretch. I don't think so, anyways. But so yeah,
I'd go him.
Fuck this fucking 7-Eleven guy. Fuck the fucking Jaws lady.
I'd go him for.
Fuck
I'd
Prince
go him
Willie.
for 100 mil.
Would you?
I'd let him. Yeah, I'd probably.
Hey, for 100 million,
I'd let him come on my face.
You'd blow. Hey, no joke.
the
I would let,
change you
I would let
filthy animal.
Bezos blow.
100 mil's a lot.
Buddy, you'd never see me again. 100 million, I'm done. I don't got to work another day in my life.
Yeah, but then you're gonna be known as the guy who got.
But then,
Who cares? I
then
mean,
the Spittin Chiclets host who got a load blown on his face for 100 million.
Talk about load
You
management.
think I should ask for 200?
Biz is like, okay, the guy's like, and then Biz is like, all right, 50 million.
I would say put up a Twitter poll, but we might get flagged for this one. But
this show's gonna
I'd
get
be
flagged.
interested how many Chiclets fans would take a load in the face from Bezos for 200 sheets.
200 sheets, I probably would.
RA?
200,000.
200 million.
$200 million dollars? Are you taking a load from
All right, it's
Bezos?
like-
Am I blowing him or
would
just
you
getting the?
Would you
comp?
let Elon Musk and Bezos double bukkake you right in the fucking yap for 200 sheets?
He'd do it for a Pepperidge Farm gingerbread.
Would you
I'd do it for 75
Would you do it for Pepperidge Farms cookies, unlimited for the rest of life, and unlimited?
They make goldfish with the fucking cheddar, baby. Cheddar blasted. Yeah, fuck yeah. No, I'm all set with loads out the face for buddy. That's,
Okay.
God.
All
Girl,
right.
lady
You know what
lo-
grinds
la-
my gears?
Lady loads, maybe.
Get
but not
loads in your
fucking-
face when all you're looking to do is get some fucking. What's that pop
I
you
just
were
on the
looking for?
internet. I get loads on my face.
What's the pop you was looking for?
the pop?
What's
Like
the pop
ginger
called?
ale.
Ginger ale.
Unlimited 2 liters of ginger ale and Pepperidge Farm
For
cookies.
my old lady.
Yap, loads in the yap. The last thing I had in my notes, boys, was I forgot to mention it when we were talking about Teemu Selanne. Teemu Selanne and Brett Hall.
Oh, the movie. He showed us the trailer.
They have a movie coming out, and we have the trailer right here for you guys to watch.
Open the door. You gotta see this. Jake, you're not gonna believe it. Sit down.
Calm down.
This better be good. It is, trust me.
I'm so happy and thrilled to own the team here in Hemel. And of course, it's exciting to be a GM and a head coach as well.
Your childhood hero is going to be your coach.
Mr. Selanne, Jake McKay.
Jake, good to meet you.
This feud with Teemu.
93 All-Star game. JR put a mouse in his bag. For some reason, he looked at me, and ever since then, it's been Brett Hull against Teemu Selanne.
Who bought this happy ending massage last week for you?
You did?
Who bought the trip to Cabo?
What trip to Cabo?
This one. 5-star hotel, all included. But I want you to remember one thing. Keep that Holly out of this league.
I'm Gary Bettman, Commissioner of the National Hockey League.
Worth every penny I spent.
Sure you're not a casting director?
Go back to New York, Bettman.
Boo! Mr. Bettman, I'm the commissioner of the Old West Hockey League.
I get booed wherever I go. An 8-inch bobblehead, 6 feet shorter than my statue in St. Louis.
You will never get the bearings.
What is he, a ranch hand or a hockey player?
Both. He works at Duke's during the off season. Nobody gets rich in the owl.
He didn't have Korea in Winnipeg the year he got 76 tucks.
Yeah? But he had Ty Domi, didn't he? And no one would go near him. And if they did, Ty would beat the out of him.
I got those owners right here in the palm of my hand.
Really want to learn more about hockey, and I was wondering if you'd mind spending a couple hours with me after work someday?
I can't do this, Jake. You know how I get when I'm alone with a hot girl? I either freeze up, or I can't stop talking, or I just start sweating like a pig.
Hi, honey. What are you doing?
Watching porn.
You are watching your highlights.
Change the name to what? Camel Flash. Like the Finnish Flash? I get it. He's gonna put a big statue of himself outside the arena. It's gonna be a foot taller than Brett Hull's in St. Louis.
One rum and coke.
Boy, would I love to tap that.
You and me both.
No, I got a nice little rental.
I know why you bought Hawks. You wanted to hire yourself as coach and have everyone kissing your
Give your best shot, you minor leaguer.
So we haven't had Teemu on the pod. We had him on for a quick 5 to 10 minute segment, but when the movie drops or right before, Teemu Selanne, Hall of Famer, not a big deal. What do you have? 76 goals one year, his rookie year?
Rookie year, yep.
He's going to come on the podcast. We're going to talk about his career and his new acting gig as himself in Minor Leaguers.
He's in the trailer, the one scene, he's like on his bed and his wife's talking to him. You see the giant picture of him in the bedroom?
Yes.
So and the fact that's what you can do when you're Teemu Selanne.
And the fact in the trailer, he's about to crank one out just like I would do pregame. So they're just like us, these stars, right? They're just like us.
Black Friday through Cyber Monday, entire Chiclets store is 20% off. So goes live midnight Black Friday all the way through Cyber Monday, 20% off everything. BarstoolSports.com/Chiclets, everything there.
Hey, subscribe, follow the YouTube channel, 307,000 followers now and climbing. Shout out to the crew. It was an awesome week in California. Thanks to Devon Levi. We're now in Atlanta. We're doing a TNT panel with all the Chiclets crew. RA's hosting. And we'll see you next week, I think.
And
right?
happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good call,
you know, so many people have many things to be thankful for. And if you know someone that maybe right now doesn't feel like they do, reach out to them, say hello. And for everyone who does, hug your loved ones and have a great holiday.
And fuck the lady at Shaw's.